about creating a retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
With each breath, allergens, germs, and viruses get trapped in your nose. Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage. Available at Navage.com.
Tony La Russa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet, first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, I think it's the best indication we have so far that classified information that Joe Biden so sloppily, I guess, stored all over, 5 different locations at his house, in his garage, at his office at the University of Pennsylvania, that may have gotten into the hands of his son, Hunter Biden, and that Hunter Biden was using it to make himself money with his overseas clients.
So Miranda Devine there saying that as we continue to look into the connections between the classified documents found at the private estate and I guess the Penn Biden Center as well, President Biden and the Hunter Biden business connections make people raise their eyebrows a little bit more. I'm very excited to watch. Fox Nation has out a third part of Who is Hunter Biden. I'm going to watch that. You watched the first ones, Brad, didn't you?
I did.
It's eye-opening.
Yes. Well, it's eye-opening in the sense that, man, this guy was involved in a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. It's eye-opening in the sense that, man, he had a really rough life. And it's eye-opening in the sense to see how the family reacted to the struggles that Hunter was having.
Yeah. And you kind of learn a little bit of background, what I would say, as far as Who is Hunter Biden, which is the name of the documentary series. But then you also understand why there would be questions surrounding things that previous to the discovery of these documents at the Biden estate, you would say, well, there seems to be some potentially inappropriate relationships here. So we are going to talk to Andy McCarthy about that in about 20 minutes from now. So do not go anywhere. Andy McCarthy with Fox News, of course, is a contributing editor at National Review, fellow at National Review Institute, Fox News contributor, also a former chief assistant U.S. attorney, is going to talk to us about what we know so far. And if there are real reasons for us to believe that there is a Joe Biden, Hunter Biden business deal concern for the American people. That's the question I think that many people have. That's kind of what it boils down to is we have the concerns about Hunter Biden and his work around the world to make himself very wealthy, make the family very wealthy. How did it involve Joe Biden? When did it involve Joe Biden? Does it still involve Joe Biden? There's questions surrounding right now Kamala Harris and the likelihood that she would be the VP on Joe Biden's ticket to run for re-election. And when you listen to President Biden speak on any given issue, when he's not reading from a teleprompter, which in and of itself is kind of a wild ride to listen to him read from a teleprompter, he has those things that he says on a regular basis. He also has stories that he tells on a regular basis. He will be 86 at the end of his second term if he runs again. 86 years old. That's up there, folks. Do you think that he's going to be able to serve out that first full term, followed by a second full term, and do what's best for the American people. Well, a lot of people are going to look at that ticket if he does choose to run again. A lot of people are arguing very much so that are on the left, that are Democrat voters. And honestly, if you're somebody who pays attention to politics, and if you have watched what President Biden has been able to accomplish so far as the leader of this administration for the Democratic Party, the Democrat Party interests, he has had an incredibly successful administration so far when it comes to his policy points. If you listen to people talk about it, they always say he's been incredibly legislatively successful. Brad, if he's been very successful legislatively, that sounds like the legislative branch was very successful and he signed some documents.
He signed some documents. Yeah, that's what that sounds like. And like, it also depends on what you mean by successful. What is your definition of success? Has he passed things that have been good for the American people? Has he passed things that have been good for the Democratic Party? Has he just passed things and getting things passed, not necessarily, notwithstanding what the outcomes of those things that he had passed are? Is that your definition? Because if getting a lot of stuff through is the definition of being successful.
Say if you're a Democrat voter, you'd think that getting a lot of those Democrat policies through, that would be, they would think that if it is good for the American people, then that would in turn also be good for the Democratic Party. Because if people are sitting here and assessing the policy plans of the Biden administration, which would be the policy plans of the Democratic Party, if he's able to get those through, then it should be good for the Democratic Party because those policies in and of themselves should be good. But it's like not really what it feels like.
No, it nothing feels good about it.
You're a conservative Republican, Brad.
Very much so.
Thank you for saying it that way.
Dyed in the wool.
Yes.
I've got my red shirt on today.
You literally have a red jacket on and a red shirt on. He's got red on red. Don't take off your red. But set aside all of your Republican conservative values and be as objective as you can possibly be to answer this question. What in this climate today, no pun intended, in the way that the American middle class existence is today, what do you think they're experiencing right now that would cause someone to look at Joe Biden and go, I think he's doing a pretty good job? And what regular occurrence, be as objective as you can, what regular occurrence in your life would make you go, what in the world is this guy doing? Do the first one first.
So the first one is what would people look at that would make them say he's doing an all right job?
Or even a great job.
Or even a great job.
Like, I want to vote for this guy. I voted for him last time. I'm going to vote for him again. Or I didn't vote for him last time, but I think I'd like some more of this.
I think the best thing that they could point to is really up until these document drops, there wasn't really anything like scandalous, outrageous. They weren't bombarded with constant, like when they was under the Trump administration, people were bombarded with constant bombastic headlines, bombastic tweets, drama, stuff like that. Biden, as far as a president has gone, has been incredibly low key. So much so that like he's not even in front of the media to talk all that often. He's just so low key that people look at that and they go, he must be doing things correctly. Back to the norms as far as presidential, acting presidential and whatnot. I think that would be one of the things that people really, really would like, or really, really like about him.
And you and I would both know that that has a lot to do with the noise that's made around the president. But Donald Trump was both noise made around him and he rattled the cage as much as he possibly could. So that went both ways with Donald Trump. That's the way he liked it. But I think that that's a good assessment to say, it feels people were literally saying this on an inauguration day. I think it was, it feels like we have an adult in the White House again. I remember the news coverage when they were showing the pictures of the White House at night in Washington, D.C., and literal sighs of relief in the broadcast coverage when Joe Biden was in the White House to remind everybody, all the viewers of those news coverages, that we've restored, I guess, integrity and a sense of propriety to the White House. That's, I think, if you are somebody who is looking at it objectively, somebody who's not politically engaged I think that that's a good assessment. Now, if you're also that same person, you're not paying attention to politics in and out. You don't have a blue shirt or a red shirt that you wear every morning. So look what I was wearing. I'm wearing black. How appropriate. What are you looking around and going, what the heck is going on here? This is terrible. Who's running the show?
So the very first thing that comes to mind is prices of things, inflation. So that's something you're slapped in the face with on a daily basis. Why are eggs $8 or whatever a dozen? Why is gas creeping back up? Why is my power bill now going up in February? You know, actually just got a note from our mayor talking about why these things are going on. And a lot of them are political decisions, policy decisions of people in the state of Illinois and nationally.
It says that?
Yep. Says it on the letter. I'll share it with you.
Do you have a Republican mayor?
My mayor is Mayor Herb Roach.
Okay.
I don't know that he's.
Let's see that. We'll see.
Yeah.
Let me check that letter.
I'll share that letter with you. So I think prices of things go on, and if you're not plugged in, you know, just to get ahead of the people that would be like, well, that's not all the president's fault. If you're not plugged in to the extent that you and I are plugged into, or you, the listener, are plugged into, you're just going to know Biden's in the White House. My prices are going up. And Biden said that he was going to bring prices down and that the economy was going to be good. And it doesn't feel like the economy is good. And so I think that's the biggest thing that people go, what is going on here?
You know, one of the things that you talked about when we were first starting this discussion is, you know, about resume and how you get to be in that position, how you get to become the president of the United States. And people are asking, is Joe Biden going to be able to continue on? Is he physically going to be able to? It is not unreasonable. In fact, it would be irresponsible to not say, can this man at his age continue to do this job? If you feel like, you know what, I think he's better than the alternative, and I think he's the best chance for Democrats to win, then I think you're going to say, yeah, I'll take it. I mean, I would vote for Republicans that I did not feel were the best Republican candidates that could run for that position over a Democrat whose policies I disagreed with almost in full. So it'd be foolish and hypocritical of me to not understand why a Democrat wouldn't do the same. There are people who are questioning now a lot more about Kamala Harris's ability and value as the vice president on a reelection ticket. And Scott Bolden, who's a Democratic strategist, was talking with, I think it was Julie Banderas. Is that right? I think it was. On the Faulkner Focus. Julie was filling in. She's real sassy, too. It's fun to watch her. And the question was posed to this Democratic strategist about whether or not Kamala Harris can be trusted with this job position. And this was his answer.
Well, she's done. I can't speak for the vice president. I'm sorry, I can't speak for Biden, but I will tell you this. She won on the ticket. She's the vice president of the United States of America. She's been an attorney general for the largest state in the union. She's been a senator, and then she ran for president. That didn't work out. And then she was chosen to be the vice president of the United States of America, the second most powerful position in this country. And so you can have a lot of criticisms, whether it's from Democratic insiders or the Republicans. But the fact of the matter is, if he doesn't run this time, or in maybe another 4 years, she is the vice president. She's going to be the vice president, and she's going to be the leader in regard to the Democrats who are going to be seeking to be the next president of the United States.
But when you
I listened to that, and I'm thinking, like, if I'm looking on Google and I'm looking for a restaurant to go eat at, and that's the review for the restaurant that is given, it's like, well, it's a restaurant and you eat off plates, and they serve meals on the plates, and you get beverages, and the waitresses will waiters will bring out your food when it's time to eat. And the meal usually lasts about 45 minutes long. And at the end, you'll be satisfied with the food that you had. At least you won't be hungry anymore. And there's also dessert. You just explained to me what happens. You didn't tell me why it should happen or why somebody else might want to experience that happening to themselves. That's not even a resume. It's just like a list of sentences that he puts together that basically don't amount to him saying, there's no way Vice President Kamala Harris should be on the ticket again. I don't think she's going to be on the ticket again.
Oh, I don't think so either.
I think that that it very much so. And I bet you that it is going to be one of those things that is known but not spoken of. That the vice president, whoever wins, if they believe that Joe Biden is the best shot at winning the presidency, they're going to run him again. And like I just said, I don't know why the Democrats wouldn't if they feel like he truly is the best shot at making sure a Republican doesn't win. The vice president, the vice president on that ticket is going to have to be ready to step in to serve as the president. And I think that that's going to be something that is known. And it is not Kamala. And everybody who's going to be voting in that election is going to be looking at it as such. Kamala Harris has never been popular. She's never had an electoral, she's never had a vote cast for her in a primary or a caucus. She was so unpopular in the Democratic primary that she dropped out before Iowa even cast their votes or whatever you do in a caucus. I don't think it's going to be her. You don't either?
No, I don't think so. I mean, and you just said something that I hadn't even processed yet, that whenever Biden runs, due to his advanced age, his vice president candidate is going to be of the utmost importance because you're getting to the end of the average lifespan of humans. Not saying anything bad could happen, but I mean, he's going to be in his 80s.
If Donald Trump runs, you've got to be thinking the exact same thing about who his vice presidential candidate would be if he won.
Yeah.
While he won.
And so, you know, do you want this to be like, you will get me, and then if something should happen to me, you get Kamala?
Yeah.
That's
all people are going to see.
That's not a selling point.
No. The question is, because Kamala Harris, she's risen through the ranks. There's only one position that she can rise to right now. And I would say that the country, her party, listen, folks, her party in the Democratic primary said, no, thank you. I remember the reports coming out of MSNBC afterwards, and they're like, you know, this country is just not ready for a black woman to become the president of the United States. And I'm like, this is Democrats. They're the ones who have to say in this. It's a Democratic primary. The Republicans don't even get to vote. Because there are plenty of, I mean, I can think of right now, Winsome Sears in Virginia would have the attention of the whole theater should she put herself in a position to run for higher office. Everybody would be interested in what she has to say. Nikki Haley is a person of color. I don't know. I don't know how this all works and what it all shakes out to be and what counts and what doesn't. I just am saying right now, what is the future of this Democratic ticket? Be paying attention, because I think that things are going to probably start to shake out here sooner than later, because folks, people need to raise money. And the sooner you start raising money, the more money you'll have once that primary is done and nominees are chosen. All right, we got to take a break. Why? Because Andy McCarthy is going to give us a call here in a minute, and we're going to talk about those Biden documents. And the big question that I have, that I think you probably have, is let's get down to brass tacks here. Is there real reason to believe that Hunter Biden and his business dealings might have something to do, have a connection to these classified documents found in these locations? I'll ask Andy McCarthy, who's an expert and a legal expert and a Fox News contributor, on the Annie Frey Show when we come back.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I was born without this fear. Now only this seems clear. I need to move. I need to fight. I need to lose myself tonight.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
Everyone knows time is money, so don't wait weeks for the IRS to send out your tax refund. Go to Jackson Hewitt instead for up to $3,500 with a no interest, no fee tax refund advance loan. With up to $3,500, you could bring home the bacon and bring it home today. Money now instead of later? That's worth its weight in gold. Don't wait weeks for your refund. Go to Jackson Hewitt today. For eligible clients, loans by Republic Bank and Trust Company. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Aircomfortservice.com. Is it cold in your house? It better not be, because it's really cold outside. If it is cold in your house, is your furnace not being able to keep up with the frigid temperatures outside? Air Comfort Service is there to help you. Call them and ask them how they can come out. You can call their emergency line, or you can call them at 314-513-0091 and get them out to make sure that everything is in good working order. If your furnace is working, we were just talking in this last segment about energy prices. And if your furnace is pumping out air that is not heating your home adequately, those energy costs, oh my gosh, you can't afford a poorly working furnace. Air Comfort Service can help you with that. If it turns out that you do need to replace the furnace that you had in your home, I replaced my furnace a couple years ago with Air Comfort Service and got a high efficiency one. And I'm telling you, I've seen the energy prices go up on our bill, but they have not gone up as much as some other people have. And I'm very confident that it's because of the services that have been rendered in my home by Air Comfort Service. Reach out to them and have them come assess the situation. I trust them in my home. I trust them with my budget. If you need financing options or rebates, they have as many of those as accessible as anybody does. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
If you own a home in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is, without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes, stlouis.com at 314-782-8000 and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant homes, inherited homes, fixer-uppers, beautiful homes, even the tenant who won't pay the rent apartment. Google us. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out our best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move according to your schedule and your terms. Go to our website, chrisbuyshomes.stlouis.com, or call Chris at 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000, and get the offer you've been waiting for. 314-782-8000.
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent, but then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel is all conversation-based, so it gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
You'll really see a difference in how you can speak and how conversational you can be in just a few weeks.
Babbel isn't just lessons. You can listen to podcasts, play games, watch videos. You can even take live online classes with a language teacher. There are so many ways to learn with Babbel.
The lessons online and in the app make it easy to learn from pretty much anywhere.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
When the weather is the story is on 97.1 with live local updates and up-to-date forecasts from 97.1 Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray, your local source for what's important. 97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Imagine if during the Cold War, Jimmy Carter or Ronald Reagan's kids were doing business deals with Russian businessmen linked to the KGB. Would their defense be, well, hey, there's nothing illegal about it. It's an absurd standard. The reason you launch investigations is to figure out what happened, whether it's legal or illegal. We need to know why this foreign money, whether it was from Ukraine, China, or Russia, found its way to the Bidens, and literally they performed no discernible services for any of it. These are not charities. They gave them this money for a reason, and we need to find out what it was.
Well, that's Peter Schweitzer's comments about, some of those Hunter Biden questions that a lot of folks have, and the revelation that those classified documents were found in multiple locations of President Joe Biden's personal residence, as well as the Penn Biden Center. And the questions that many folks like you and I have are, is there a connection there? How does this concern the American people? Well, we want to ask a legal expert, Andy McCarthy, who joins us now. He is a contributing editor at National Review, a Fox News contributor, and a former chief assistant U.S. attorney. Andy, thank you for coming back on the show with us. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Annie, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I want to just kind of open-ended ask that question. As somebody who's watching this from a legal perspective, what business is the Hunter Biden connection to Joe Biden in those business dealings with these classified documents, if any? Do you see a potential question that needs to be answered by those individual parties?
Well, I think the Hunter Biden connection to all this shows what the broader problem is, which is there's a reason that federal law dealing with classified information, which involves the most precious secrets of American intelligence. There's a reason why it's a crime either to keep it in an unauthorized place or to allow it to be transmitted to people who don't have authorization to see it or possess it. And the law considers it a felony when you are an official who's trusted and trained and had to deal with classified information. If you handle it in a grossly negligent way, that's a potential 10-year felony offense. And the reason is because of the great damage that can be done to the country if the information falls into the wrong hands. So Hunter is obviously one big concern. What we've learned now about President Biden is he's been in possession of, for years, of classified information that goes back to his time in the Senate, some of it, which ended 14 years ago. So how long he's been hoarding this stuff is somewhat remarkable. But during a lot of that time, apparently classified documents were kept in places where Hunter was residing, and he has two big problems. One, he was a drug addict, and two, he had very lucrative financial arrangements with agents of foreign powers who are hostile to the United States, and some of them corrupt as well. So, there's obviously motive and opportunity to share classified information with rogues. And, the problem is that Hunter shouldn't have been anywhere near the classified information in the first place. But he's only one person. There's no one. If President Biden was holding this information in places where it wasn't supposed to be and allowing people who were unauthorized to have access to it, Hunter is only the tip of the iceberg of the problem.
We're speaking with Andy McCarthy, a Fox News contributor and contributing editor at National Review. I have just retweeted your article in the National Review, and I want to ask you about it because if this all would have unfolded 1 year ago, is Tuesday, January 30th, 2022, this would look very different because Congress would look very different. You're saying in your National Review article that I encourage people to read, Congress must not tolerate the Biden administration's obstruction. They actually have the ability with the majority in the House now to do something about it. What would you like to see them do?
They should start with subpoenas. I don't think polite requests to turn over documents are going to work. We have long experience with that. Nothing works other than a subpoena that you make clear that you're going to enforce on pain of contempt and go to court to enforce, and that you're willing to enforce it with the impeachment power if that's what's necessary to do for officials who won't comply. It would have been, first of all, Annie, the important thing to realize here is while I think the discussion of the legal repercussions here, like whether President Biden has legal liability or not, is all very interesting. It's about a third order concern for what we're dealing with here. The most important thing always in these cases is the national security of the United States. So whether anyone ever gets charged, the most important thing is that Congress get its hands dirty, get into this and, find out how did this get compromised? Who are we perhaps vulnerable to? Are sources and methods of intelligence vulnerable because of the way Biden handled classified information? And what's the damage to us? And the reason I stress that is because the framers would have thought it was preposterous if somebody had suggested that the number one check on executive misconduct was prosecutors who work for the president. The number one check in the Constitution on executive misconduct is Congress. So this whole idea that Congress needs to defer while the prosecutors do their work, the prosecutors who are working for Biden, for the Justice Department, that will want to bury this whole thing is ridiculous. And if I were a Republican in Congress, I would not have much patience for this, because we just sat through 2 years of the January 6th committee, a House committee, which couldn't have cared less whether the work that it was doing had any impact on the Justice Department's 900 prosecutions of people who were connected to the Capitol riot. They subpoenaed whoever they wanted. They shared or didn't share information with the prosecutors at the Justice Department as they decided was convenient for the needs of the committee. They didn't care less about whether their work was in any way compromising or making it more difficult for federal prosecutors to do their work. So I don't understand why now all of a sudden we have a situation where the national security is at stake and Congress is supposed to take a back seat while prosecutors who work for Biden investigate Biden? Really?
Yeah, it's such an important point, too. We're speaking with Andy McCarthy right now. He's a former chief assistant U.S. attorney and a contributing editor at National Review, as well as a Fox News contributor. Since you brought it up, and I think it's important in the context of how you just framed this, but if we looked at the entire body of work of the January 6th committee, what they spent time on, how much money they spent in order to go through this, they hired a professional producer so they could make this a primetime event for America to consume. In your legal expertise, what did they accomplish now that it's completely over? What was the business of the American people accomplishing there?
Well, look, to be fair to them, I don't like the way the committee was structured. I think it was, and I think this hurts the Democrats in the long run because, the first rule of politics is what goes around comes around. So if you start to break the norms that, each party gets to have its own members sit on these committees and, you have a Democrat-controlled committee that won't let the Republicans put their chosen people on it, they're now feeling the effects of this as, some people like Adam Schiff, who, like, whatever you think of Adam Schiff, I'm not a fan, but he's certainly an effective Democrat on Capitol Hill. He's now been booted from a very important committee because they messed around with the norms. So I think they're being bit by what they did, and I don't like the way they did it. But at the same time, an attack on Congress itself is something that is worthy of an investigation by Congress. To my mind, this was an important investigation that the Democrats politicized, and therefore its outcome is not as valuable as it might otherwise have been. I think anybody fair-minded would say it was certainly a worthy exercise for Congress to compose a comprehensive report of what happened in connection with January 6th. I think, unfortunately, an important committee was captured by the Democrats who had a political agenda and really focused on Donald Trump personally to the exclusion of everything else that was important about January 6th. And I'm not saying Trump wasn't, but, there's a lot of things such as the security of the Capitol and how do we fix that, and, some legislative fixes for, how we conduct elections that, I think the committee could have done a much better job on if it had been more credible with the whole country instead of a Democratic political exercise.
That is such an important distinction that I think is often lost in the political back and forth when these types of conversations are going on, that it was a worthwhile investigation. What took place on January 6th, if anybody watched that in real time, it unfolded during my show here. So we did our best to cover it. And because we didn't know what was going on, a lot of answers for a lot of questions needed to be sought, and it was politicized. Final question for you, Andy McCarthy, before we let you go, because we are very grateful for your time today. How do the Republicans in the House do a worthy investigation into this instance and potentially future ones, but specifically this one, and keep from making it that politicized mess that really gets in the way of its ultimate purpose?
Well, I think, Annie, they're already off to a good start, because the important committees that are going to investigate whatever national security problems we have because of this mishandling at high levels of classified information, there hasn't been any effort by the Republicans to prevent Democrats from having, their chosen people on the committee. So, for example, Schiff has been booted off the Intelligence Committee, and given the record compiled, there's a good argument for why that happened. The fact that he's at least, at a minimum, he lied about information that came before his committee. Whether he leaked it or not, I don't know how strong the evidence of that is. But nothing prevents the Democrats, if they want to put him on the oversight committee that is investigating the classified information stuff, they're going to be perfectly free to put whoever they want to put on those committees. So you're not going to have a situation where committees that are conducting these investigations are so hyper politicized that the Democrats are not being permitted to put their own chosen nominees on. But I can't stress enough that if they want to get to the bottom of this, they can't say pretty please and expect that the administration is going to comply. They're obviously using prosecutors as a kind of a black hole to bury all of this by telling everyone that, they can't produce documents, they can't produce information, they can't testify because that would interfere with the work of the prosecutors. Congress can't accept that as an answer. They have to issue subpoenas, and they have to demonstrate that they're willing to back those subpoenas with real enforcement, whether it's the, contempt power. You could start with the contempt power and then move on to impeachment if people are recalcitrant enough. So they have to show they're serious.
Andy, that's wonderful things. Thank you so much for your time today. We value your insight and your time, and we hope to be able to have you back again soon as these stories continue to develop.
Thanks, Annie. Have a great week.
You as well. Andy McCarthy, contributing editor at National Review, a fellow at National Review Institute, and a Fox News contributor, former chief assistant U.S. attorney. The resume is long, and his time with us was as well. Very, very grateful for that. If you didn't get to hear the whole interview, I would remind you on the Odyssey app, you can rewind to about 12:25, I would say, Brad, and you can start that interview from the beginning. Great information from somebody who is a legal expert on these issues and can give that legal, constitutionally founded direction as to where this needs to go. I like that he's saying there the distinction between what the January 6th committee was supposed to be and what they turned it into. I wonder how many Republicans you could ask right now who would say, set aside everything that took place with the January 6th committee and everything that we know about it. Aren't there a lot of questions that you would like to have asked about who infiltrated the Capitol the way they did, how they got in there, how to make sure that that never happens again? Don't you want your members of Congress to feel safe inside the United States Capitol? I mean, there are a ton of questions that deserve answers. And I think that there are positions and perspectives now, which you can't undo everything that, the Monday morning quarterbacking of it, of course, this far out from, what are we, 2+ years past? You can't unknow what you know now as far as what each political side's rhetoric is on the day. I don't really think that I know much more about that day today than I knew maybe a couple weeks after it initially, because everything else is politicized. It's like you put the spice in the cake and you can't get it back out again. And how do the Republicans do right by the American people, the country, the people who they represent, with investigations into things like these classified documents or Hunter Biden? 3 Twitter executives are going to be testifying in front of Congress in early February regarding their actions and the Hunter Biden New York Post story. This is important stuff. This is big stuff. And the Republicans so far, I think, have handled it well. And to Andy McCarthy's credit there, what he said, they haven't said anybody is not allowed to serve. If Jim Jordan would have been on the January 6th committee and whomever else, I think Rodney Davis was one of them that McCarthy said should be on there. Nancy Pelosi said no. think we would have a very different outcome. It would have been better for the country too. And I think it would have been better for the outcome for people in Congress to make sure they got to the root of the problem and to be able to expose it. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Wiggins America in studio. He's going to talk about people at work. Employees are checking out at work more than ever. Are you? Well, hopefully if you are, you're checking into our YouTube channel at your desk. Just on the down low. Follow us on YouTube. Last I checked, we were, I think, 62, I don't know, subscribers away from 5,000. And folks, we have something for you today. Something big.
Huge.
Of course, Brad would say so. We'll be right back with Wiggins America. Don't go away.
Hey, little thing, let me light your candle calls her mama. I'm sure all the hand and I get around.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
The federal government is hiring 87,000 new IRS employees and enforcement agents. Make no mistake, with spending out of control, they're looking to collect revenue. The first target will be you. If you have not paid your taxes or filed them in years, let me help you get that target off your back. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. So if you have unfiled returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
So cajonesinc.com, an Energy Star certified home builder. This is kind of a consistency, it seems like, here today on the show so far. The cost of energy is going up. Is it going to go down in the future? Well, I'm not betting on it. When you build your home on the Illinois side of the river and you choose to build with C.A. Jones, they make sure that your home is built in one of the most energy efficient ways. They provide a 10-year builder limited warranty, including a lifetime waterproof basement warranty. They have the largest inventory of new construction homes for sale right now, and they are leaders in those energy efficient ways to build homes to keep those energy costs down. I appreciate so much the relationship that I have with Mike, with everybody over at C.A. Jones, because I understand how much they care about these communities. They live in these communities, they work in these communities, they build in these communities, and they are helping grow these communities, not just by building beautiful homes, but also by reinvesting in these communities. If you want to work with a builder who you can trust, who's going to build you a home that you love, the answer is C.A. Jones. Learn all about them online at cajonesinc.com.
Conservatives Care is a new 97.1 monthly action plan to change your neighborhoods and our nation, one project at a time. In January, we're inviting you to join us in the Missouri USO in serving our troops by visiting missouri.uso.org.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Filtering the BS pushed by the mainstream media.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk.
Do you recall not long ago when you would walk on the
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
We need someone to lean on. Focus, fire gun. All we need is somebody to lean on. Focus, fire gun.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for being here with us on a Tuesday afternoon. It's Wiggins America time. It's Wiggins America. Everyone's like, is it? It is.
Just a little pause, no big deal. So you guys, I want to bring something to your attention.
And gals.
And gals. But hey, it's just you guys.
You know.
Hey.
No, it's not you guys. And gals.
Am I missing something? Is this a news report that people are now getting mad at you guys?
No, it's just a St. Louis thing. Don't tell him. You know.
Hannah, do you know?
You can say no.
No.
Do you know?
I'm not sure I know.
Oh, good.
Guys
good.
and gals? Okay. Somebody in the chat will. Go on, do your thing.
Okay. All right. Let's get to
I
this.
realized.
So it's not just you. According to this report, Americans are reporting higher than ever levels of dissatisfaction and malaise at work.
What do you mean it's not just you? Who are you talking to?
I'm saying
Brad?
it's not just you. well, wait, because I do have a question for you.
We had this conversation before the show. You know how we were talking about how awful this job is?
Brad, you know how you were talking about how you're just hanging by a thread every day? Well, it's not just you.
This is the stuff that they make me do around here.
Yeah.
Is this declining work ethic or just people aren't happy with their jobs?
It seems as if it's all of the above.
Compassion or not, like passion for work, application to work, motivation.
Yeah, it's
Sense of
engagement even
purpose.
at work. It says regardless of work location, including fully remote employees, organizational satisfaction, clarity of expectations, opportunities to do what to do best, and feeling connected to the organization's mission or purpose have all declined substantially, even in the last year. And it has nothing to do with whether you're working from home, because everybody's saying, oh, it's people who are working from home. You're not as focused. It has nothing to do with whether you're at home or at work
Well, it
or
might be
anywhere
people
else.
at work wish they were at home, so they're not happy.
Well, this is
Everybody likes those times when we didn't have to work and we got money.
Yeah, right?
How could you not?
The question now, this is a real question. Is there any coming back from
That's
that?
what we're going to do when we retire and get Social Security.
Not you, Hannah.
Not
you, Annie.
Not you, Brad.
Not me. Ryan's the only one that's old enough to get it.
What a moocher. You're going to be retired in 3 years, just living off of our money in the Social Security.
Retired in he's 3 years past retirement.
I know, but he
5,
won't
6,
leave.
and
Well, I'm just
retired.
doing this for fun now, and it's not
Fun
even that
for
fun.
who?
In like 2-3 years, I'll be 45, and I'll be probably going ahead and collecting my Social Security. I think that's how that works. I haven't exactly looked into it yet, but I think that's how that works.
Is that what HR said?
I wanted to bring this up.
To
Can I
ask if
find
we
out-
hate our jobs?
Can I find out what HR said real quick, though?
Oh, I'd love to say it on the air.
Oh, maybe I don't want to know right now. Then maybe we just wait a second.
We've been teasing big news.
That's true. We still,
Uh,
we need to talk about when the big news is going to be announced.
Well, one of the
There's
reasons
little news being announced today at 2:25.
that I wanted to bring this up is that one of the people in this room, now I'm not going to call them out, but on Friday, one of the people in this room actually fell asleep at work.
Well, I wasn't at work. Actually,
And-
I was literally laying in my bed watching
So
work.
you were sleeping in bed.
No, I was on the show chat the entire day when I was sick as a dog.
I'm just trying to point at other people here.
Yeah. I heard you fell asleep.
Now, if you want to come clean, this would be the time to do it because there's
I
no
did fall
judgment.
asleep at work.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
Listen, Hannah,
You worked a double shift.
in Japan, they consider
It's not
that a
illegal.
sign, like that's a good thing. If you fall asleep at your desk, it means you've been working really hard and you've exhausted yourself for
Yes,
your job.
I was working hard. I had to be
Man,
here at 6
I don't know
a.m.
about that. I've fallen
Japan's
asleep
a
at
different
work.
culture.
I've fallen asleep at work before a few times, and sometimes it was because of that, but usually not. Usually it has to do with things outside of work that are exhausting me, and I just realize that I'm out of energy at work.
that's probably
Yeah.
a better question is how many of us have fallen asleep at work or know somebody who has, because when you work at radio stations, a lot of people are up at very, very different hours than you. And if you make them stay too long, sometimes they fall
One
asleep.
of my very first shifts here at Odyssey, I was working a weekend shift and I walked in and there was someone sleeping on the couch out like by the kitchen. And the person who was training me, they're like, "Oh yeah, that just happens." I was like, "Oh,
It's not unusual in radio.
okay."
No, it's
because
not
people
really.
work random hours.
Yeah.
So do you think back to the point here though? Do you think
Yeah,
there's any
what was the
coming?
point here?
It's just worker malaise, basically.
Do you hate
People
your job?
completely checked out at work more than ever, and that's what's disappointing is that you figure coming out of things getting back to normal, that would start to
Was there like a
change.
Was there like a conclusion, or they're just like, wow, people don't like their jobs?
The conclusion was, it's still going up because it should be now going back down because people are getting back to normal, and I think there's a concern that we've just reached a new normal in the United States, that people are just not wanting to do their work anymore. And there has to be some sort of solution to it. And I'm not really sure what it is.
They wanted to blame it on COVID, and now we can't. It's gone.
Exactly.
You know, we talked about this. I don't remember if it was for a past Wiggins America or a different segment, where the difference between like the boomers and Gen Z and millennials and stuff like that, about like finding your identity in your job, and this new generation doesn't find their identity in their job. And I can see where that would lead to this, like, what am I even doing here kind of attitude. I just feel like I come in, hit the grind, do the same thing, get a paycheck, go home, and the next day get up and do it all over again.
Why do we work? Why?
I think it's a duality of reasons. One is for a living, and the other is for fulfillment, some purpose.
No, you could fulfill yourself without having to work in a lot of ways.
Yes, but hopefully that's a part of it.
Most people work so that they can feed themselves.
Yeah.
And the people who rely on them, or provide shelter. You don't need to work to do all those things anymore.
You know, and I wonder too, like you say, people work to provide for their family and whatnot. We're getting away from that as a society as well. We don't have a family, and that removes some of the purpose in your job outside of just, you know, making ends meet for yourself.
You can do incredibly fulfilling things, and sometimes the most fulfilling things where there's no paycheck involved.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh,
That's
nice.
true.
If you get money for it, that's great. I am fulfilled by my ability to come here and do this every day. But if I could live the same life not coming in here that I do having to come in here every day, I'd be volunteering. I'd be going to every field trip. You know, do you know how many things I don't get to do with my kids because I'm here? There's a ton of things. You know, my husband's a teacher. How many things that we can't do outside of the very small amount of days that he gets off as a teacher? That's hilarious. It's just a very specific amount of days. So we can't just go, you know, on a vacation in the middle of September because those days he's got to be at work. If we are living in a society where your basic needs are met, if you choose not to provide them, I could see why people would start to think of work as a little more optional.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't mean it's easy, but it becomes a little more optional. Let's talk to Lora Ries when we come back.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so very proud to have represented the guys at ThrottleNet for all of these years. They are the IT geniuses. George and Mike are the owners. Fantastic guys. They can do all of your IT. They can do a portion of your IT. They have the best Apple support team. Their response time is under 2 minutes. Think about that, under 2 minutes. Something goes sideways with your IT, and they are solving your problem. And they're solving your problem within 2 minutes. Now, let's talk about cybersecurity. Most companies in St. Louis don't have cyber liability insurance. You get hit, you're on the hook, you're probably out of business. With ThrottleNet, if we represent you, we protect you. The first $500,000 that someone hits you for, which isn't going to happen, but if it does, we pay it. $500,000. That's what you're covered for with ThrottleNet. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS for all the information.
Google the bagel loan if you don't want to listen to me explain it again, but you're thinking, gosh, it sounds like maybe that could save me some money. You can Google it and learn about it that way. But I also will give you Stewie's direct line, his phone number, in the phone that wherever Stewie is right now, he's got this in his pocket or on his desk right next to him. It's his phone, 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Text Stewie and say, interested in a bagel loan, Annie says it's good for me. That's all you got to do, and text him, and then you will be able to have a conversation about your specific mortgage needs while you're buying a home and you're going through the process and you're trying to figure out how to make all the dollars work in your favor. You want to be a competitive buyer. You can't find anywhere else to make you a more competitive buyer than Stewart's American Mortgage. That number to text, again, 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440. Ask him about the bagel loan. You can Google it to learn more. NMLS number 226715.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The president says it's just the beginning. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
It's the beginning of finally constructing a 21st century rail system that's long, long overdue in this country.
He's hailing the billions from the infrastructure law being spent to fix tunnels in the busy Northeast corridor, calling it the most significant investment in rail since Amtrak was created, and one that can also help the environment by getting more people out of cars and onto trains. His trip to New York today follows a similar event in Maryland yesterday. The president is downplaying questions about an extension of the COVID emergency orders now scheduled to end this spring.
Almost 3 years after the United States went into a national emergency to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic, the Biden administration plans to officially end the emergency orders May 11th. The COVID national emergency was set to expire March 1st, with the public health emergency April 11th, before the administration made the move to extend until May. House Republicans plan to bring resolutions to the floor this week, calling for an immediate end to the emergencies.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz at the White House. President Biden says the extension until May is just to make sure everything gets done. The White House says the extension does not change the COVID-era rule known as Title 42, turning away many asylum seekers, which remains under Supreme Court review. Freshman Congressman George Santos is pulling himself off of committee assignments. The New York Republican under investigation over lies about his personal story and possible campaign finance violations.
I met with George Santos yesterday, and I think it was an appropriate decision that until he can clear everything up, he's off committees right now.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is favored waiting for any probes to finish as Santos continues to resist calls to resign. America is listening to Fox News.
As a Walgreens pharmacist, I talk with people all the time about little tips and tricks for filling their Medicare prescriptions, like taking advantage of Walgreens 90-day refills to save them a trip, or using Refill by Scan, which is super easy and right on your phone. And for anybody worried about prescription costs, I say, hey, we got you, with low-cost copays on many medications.
Let's talk about making things easier. Walgreens is here. Fill your way and save at walgreens.com/Medicare. See pharmacists for restrictions and exclusions.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number? Not me. Nope.
Nuh-uh.
Oh, no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Bundle up times continue 28. That's it for the high this afternoon. More and more clouds in control. These temps way below average. Tonight, cloudy skies, light winds, very cold again. 17 for the low. Wednesday, partly sunny. Obviously, a cold start out the door. It's a little bit better in the afternoon, but still cold. 38 up to 45 Thursday, back down to 35 Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Governor Mike Parson.
The media, Mark, it is literally just an agenda. Thank goodness you guys are out there that sure are trying to give honest information.
97.1 FM Talk.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Mark Reardon sees clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Maholtred Ophthalmology Associates. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today. That's youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
Learn to make money 5 ways with rental real estate. Double your money with apartments and get your map to financial freedom. And that map starts with a free workshop. Sign up now at lifestylesunlimited.com. Click on the Join Free Workshop tab and attend online or in person. That's lifestylesunlimited.com. Lifestylesunlimited.com. Again, that's lifestylesunlimited.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential.
So I want to talk to you about the Closet Factory and how they can come in and help you with problems that you have. They're so persistent in your life, you don't even see that you have those problems. And I'm not trying to sell you on something you don't need here, because I am speaking from personal experience as a customer, a client myself of Closet Factory. Think about your house right now. Think about the room in your house that you use the least. Why do you use it the least? A lot of times it's because it's not organized in a way that suits your needs. It just kind of collects stuff and it sits there and you just ignore it. It's out of sight, out of mind. Think about expanding the square footage of your home and what you could do if you could achieve that. When the Closet Factory comes in and helps you organize these spaces in a way with customized storage, allows you to make those rooms functional. It's almost as if you're adding square footage to your house. I've experienced this myself. It is a domino effect throughout the home. When you get one place that is working for you, it just starts to create more spaces that just kind of pick themselves up. It's amazing. If you're interested in this, reach out to the Closet Factory and talk to them about how they can help you with your customized storage needs. 314-961-4300. Online at closetfactory.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
So do you know where they are and who they are, the people that don't request asylum when they arrive here?
So for the first time since 2011, the President of the United States presented a budget successfully that increased the number of Border Patrol agents. For the first time this year, we have 300 more Border Patrol agent eligibility positions than we did in the past. We are making tremendous strides. We are devoting tremendous resources to enhance our border security, and we will keep at it.
Do you know where they are and who they are?
So gotaways have been a challenge from year to year, regardless of the administration.
That's not a good look. That's just, when you listen to Secretary Mayorkas just patently refuse to answer the question and to just start stating things that are, facts about Border Patrol, the answer, and I can't stress this enough, people who refuse to answer a question are still answering the question by their refusal to do so. Maybe we can ask our next guest to decipher a little bit of what Secretary Mayorkas said by not answering that question. We welcome Lora Ries onto the show. She's the director of Heritage Foundation's Border Security and Immigration Center. Lora, thank you for coming on today. We appreciate your time.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
When you hear Secretary Mayorkas refuse to answer that question, do you know who's here? And the ones who have gotten away, do we know where they are? and he won't answer that question, what does that tell you?
Well, it just like he wouldn't call a border crisis, and he continues to lie that the border is secure. He won't discuss the now 1.2 million gotaways since Joe Biden has been in office. The most he will ever say is he will call something a challenge, and that is Mayorkas speak for a slight admission of the truth, that it is actually happening.
If we can't acknowledge it, if we're only the United States faces a lot of challenges, of course, across a whole broad level of issues. Many people refer to the border as a crisis. The crisis is an elevated challenge, I would say, many levels. Would you call what's going on the border a crisis?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a disaster. It was a crisis after a few months of Joe Biden being in office. But now, after 2 solid years, it is a disaster. It is a national security disaster. It is a public safety disaster. It is a humanitarian disaster.
When you look at, you said within a few months it was a crisis in the border, from the Biden administration. This is kind of an issue that, I talk to people on both sides of the aisle every day here on this show and within the community of this show. And I think the border issue seems to be one that I can tell that people on the left are concerned about. Now, there are political reasons why they might not give too many inches in that conversation. But one of the ways that I can tell that they know that it is, in fact, a crisis and an issue is that they say, oh, it was a problem during Trump's administration and the administration before that and before that and before that. So it's like it is a problem, but they just don't want to take political responsibility for it because their guy's in office right now. Is the problem worse now than it has been in an administration's past?
Absolutely. I mean, we've never seen numbers like this, both in illegal alien encounters, deaths at the border, search and rescues that CBP Air and Marine has to do, historic numbers of unaccompanied alien children coming to the border because Secretary Mayorkas entices them, record numbers of opioid deaths, namely from fentanyl, which is crossing the border. I mean, this president has broken many records, and all of them are bad.
I think that one of the issues regarding the southern border that does show Americans that are not looking at it like it's it's not like the border is a place where we can put all of our political chips into the center of the table, because it's much bigger than that. It's broader than that. It's going to require Republicans and Democrats and everybody else to come together to solve the problem because it's that massive. But one of the issues that does seem to me to bring the attention of the room together is the way it's affecting children, the way children are being manipulated across that southern border. I wonder if you could maybe explain to me some of the details about how children enter this country, the circumstances they enter this country, what happens to them on the way here and once they get here.
Yes, unfortunately, back in 2008, after a number of years of attempts at passing legislation for unaccompanied alien children by California Representative Zoe Lofgren and California Senator Dianne Feinstein, the bill finally was rolled into the Trafficking Victims Protection Reauthorization Act, and it was put under a subheading of combating trafficking of children. And yet what the bill does is exactly the opposite. It says that if an unaccompanied minor comes to the border, we must let them into the U.S. unless they're from Canada or Mexico. We must put them into removal proceedings and shower them with immigration benefits because they came as unaccompanied children, including faster and easier refugee process, special immigrant visa, faster way to get a green card, et cetera, et cetera. All that did was entice more parents to send their children unaccompanied across the border. And that can come about in two scenarios. Either the parent or parents are outside of the U.S. and send their child unaccompanied to gain a foothold in the U.S. So then they can claim, well, we need to reunify in the U.S. as a family, or a parent or parents are in the U.S., the minor is outside the U.S., and then orders the child to come across unaccompanied for, quote unquote, family reunification in the U.S. But in all instances, they are being smuggled across, and no one is crossing that border without the cartels knowing about it. The cartels have complete operational control of the border. And unfortunately, women and children are routinely abused, raped, abandoned, sometimes killed by these cartels and coyotes. It is a terribly inhumane trek, and the secretary continues to entice more of it.
Do you believe that Secretary Mayorkas knows and understands all of these things that you've just explained and chooses not to address them?
I don't think he knows the history of the unaccompanied alien children legislation and the obvious outcomes of it. I don't think he cares. He plays on emotions and argues that any child coming here is doing so for humanitarian reasons and believes that they all need protection. And therefore, he has said multiple times he will not turn them back. And not surprisingly, then, we have reached historic numbers of unaccompanied minors coming to the border during this administration. But you know who else is coming as unaccompanied minors? Gang members, teenagers, MS-13. In fact, one was just arrested recently for killing another girl in Maryland. Strangulation, I believe. So this is dangerous business. And I refer back to the so-called heading of this unaccompanied legislation, which is to combat trafficking of children. Many of these minors who are coming across are indeed trafficked. They get into the U.S. and become sex trafficking victims. They're turned over to quote-unquote sponsors who aren't vetted, can be illegal aliens themselves, and then become trafficking victims. So this legislation is an utter failure. And it needs to be repealed.
Yeah, you can't. I don't understand how people could hear all of these things that you're saying, and you could fact check you if they, if you were hearing this for the first time and you were listening to the things that our guest here, Lora Ries, was saying, and your jaws dropping because these are horrific things, and you'd say this can't possibly be, because if all of these things were true, then naturally the humanitarian concerns of the United States would not be encouraging this behavior to continue. It seems as though Secretary Mayorkas either has his head in the sand or he's determined that there is some political advantage or some advantage to not addressing those specific situations with children, with gangs. I don't know that we've even really brought up the drugs that have come across. China-made fentanyl that comes into our country and is destroying our country all across, and all 50 states are experiencing the consequences of this open border. Do you feel, is there any glimmer of hope that you see, Lora, when you are looking at the crisis that we have on the southern border? It seems it gets worse and worse and worse. Is there any glimmer of hope that you see?
It does get worse. If Congress would start defunding these Biden border operations of, processing more people in faster, that would give me a glimmer of hope. Short of that, I am not optimistic over these next 2 years. And I fear, given the 1.2 million gotaways and the terrorists and serious criminals we have to assume are among them, I fear we are going to have a terrorist attack. And only then will some members of Congress wake up. They will falsely ask, how did we get here? And then there would be an opportunity in such an emergency to turn some things back. But sadly, we are in a bad state. And after 2 years of things going in the wrong direction, unfortunately, this administration is showing no sign of changing course. What they are doing is trying to be even more deceitful about it. In the administration's latest announcement of a parole program for Venezuelans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, Cubans, they are playing a shell game. And they are telling these people, go to a port of entry instead of crossing illegally between ports of entry. Here's a handy CBP One mobile app you can use. Make an appointment. We'll parole you into the U.S. You should probably apply for asylum. And we'll call this a lawful program. And if you don't go this path, then you're going to be turned back. And so the administration is already pointing to, look, the January numbers of people crossing between the ports of entry is falling. This is successful. The border crisis is lessening. We are successful. But no one should believe the deceit. What they need to do is look at the numbers of people crossing through the ports of entry who are not admissible, because those numbers have been going up for months.
Man, what a high stakes, risky game that we're playing with the safety and security of the Americans inside this country. We appreciate you, Lora, for what you are doing to watch and bring attention to these issues. And we look forward to talking to you again about it soon.
Thank you for having me on.
Of course. Lora Ries, Director of Heritage Foundation's Border Security and Immigration Center. It's really, really awful to know that this is one of those issues that I do believe. I tweeted this out last night, and I just was asking the question, what is an issue? If you're a Republican, what is an issue that you truly think, you know what, this is the thing? It could be a small issue. It doesn't have to be, world hunger or anything like that. It could be a small issue. What is the thing that realistically Republicans and Democrats should be able to come together on this? And I know that there's a lot of righteous indignation from the right saying, well, the left should come and understand that it's our Second Amendment right, and we should all be able to have any gun we want, and blah, blah. Okay, yes, I understand believing and having the confidence and the just the genuine faith in the understanding of your principles that are very much so rooted in conservative thought. And it may not even be that your thoughts and principles are rooted in constitutional conservative thought. It's just that your principles are manifested in what the application of conservatism is. The thoughts come first. The conservatism is what you call it. Is there anything that you feel like you should be able to look across the aisle to somebody who disagrees with you on many, many, many things and go, but we should be able to fix this together? Even if it's not the whole issue, maybe it's a portion of the issue. I'd ask the same thing to my Democrat friends. What is just that little one beam of daylight that exists between you and the person that's on the other side of the aisle where maybe some progress could be made? I think it's an interesting thought exercise, because I think that the initial thought is there's not a darn thing that we could come together on. I'm working with, and we haven't set the official first date, but we're going to start having Leslie Marshall on the show. She's on Fox News. She's a Democrat. I believe she's a radio host. She is, one of the consistent voices on Fox News that brings the Democrat perspective onto the air. And I've been talking to her for a few months about this idea. And it's not about, people ask me all the time, like, Annie, why don't you have dissenting views on? Well, first of all, we invite people on the show who dissent from us and who are proposing things that we disagree with. They won't come on. So there's that. Secondly, I don't do this show in a combative way. At least not, I don't ever like show up to work and be like, I'm not gonna own the libs today. It's not my cup of tea. It certainly can be entertaining from my own position to listen to a good back and forth between opposing views and listening to the battle of wits and so on and so forth. I'm not saying there's no value in it, but it's just not what I'm doing here. So if I'm going to have a Democrat, especially somebody who is a professional person to speak on behalf of the Democrat onto the show, it's not so that you can tune in on, Tuesdays at 1:05 to hear Annie own the libs, or to, if you are on the other side, to hear them potentially own me because you think that they won the argument. When in my conversation with Leslie Marshall specifically, because she's one of my favorite dissenting views on Fox News, because I think she does a great job of articulating her position without being combative. And I know people on the right who articulate their position with being combative, and I'm particularly turned off by that as well. But I said to her, I really want to discuss the discussion. It's not so much, I don't unrealistically think that somebody like Leslie Marshall or somebody else who is, a Democratic commentator like she is, they're not going to come on the Annie Frey show and we're not going to solve all of the world's problems. We're principled people. We have differing views. We can go back and forth. I'm probably not going to change her mind on anything. She's probably not going to change my mind on anything when it comes to policy. But nobody will even have the conversation across the aisle. And I almost think that we need to discuss the discussion before we discuss the substance of the issues. And I'm kind of, first and foremost, challenging myself to step into that. And there are going to be people who will say, did you hear Annie had Leslie Marshall, or if I had Juan Williams, or, some of these other Democrats on? Did you hear she's selling out? I knew she was a rhino. If that's your assessment of me after you hear me talk to one Democrat, then you haven't listened to the show. You probably don't know much about me. I hope you continue to listen. I hope I get the chance to prove you wrong. But when we come back, we'll have Ryan and Hannah and Brad join this conversation. Anything huge or infinitesimally small that Republicans and Democrats should be able to realistically come together and make some progress on. I want to see your suggestions in the Annie Frey YouTube chat. Not to lead the conversation, but today's YouTube live chat poll is, should George Santos resign? Yes or no? You can go vote on that poll. That's not what this is about, but that's the first time I've mentioned the poll today. There is a little bit of George Santos news, which we'll deliver when we come back as well. Annie Frey YouTube channel, we got something big happening at 2:25, a premiere that we are going to set up for you. So you're definitely going to want to be on the YouTube today. We'll be right back.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Congress has authorized trillions in new spending, along with doubling the size of the IRS agency in just the last few months. Do you think that is by accident? No, it is with a purpose, to go after small businesses, employees, and individuals who have not filed or paid their taxes. If this is you, don't panic, just call. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Interest and penalties on your tax bill won't stop until you take control. Call me, Lance Drury. I'll tell you in advance an affordable fee, which includes costs and expenses, that works for your business and family. Your first visit to the Lance Drury Law Firm is free and confidential, so you have nothing to lose. Call me today. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need us, the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, D-R-U-R-Y law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Anytime I get the opportunity to tell you to drop my name so you can save some of your hard-earned dollars, I'm happy to do it. And Valentine's Day is right around the corner. So go to the Diamond Shop, mention the Annie Frey Show, and you're going to get an additional 10% off your purchase. And now through Valentine's Day at the Diamond Shop, located right there in Clayton, all in-stock jewelry is 30% off. So you get 30% off in-stock jewelry. Mention my name, you'll get an additional 10% off. That's fantastic. Just go in and say Annie Frey to get that additional savings. Now, the Diamond Shop has all sorts of different things. Of course, the jewelry, you know what jewelry is. They have watches as well. They have beautiful pieces for men. They have beautiful pieces for women. They also do custom jewelry. They will help you with jewelry and watch repair. So if you have something, if you just kind of want to go in and see what Annie's been talking about with the Diamond Shop, I'm a customer myself. I have multiple beautiful pieces from them, pieces that were, under $100 and pieces that were a little bit more than that. They can accommodate whatever your budget is for your Valentine's Day gift. Do something special for someone you love, maybe even just for yourself, and save 30% off all in-stock jewelry and 10% extra when you mention the Annie Frey Show, thediamondshop.net.
If your New Year's resolution is to finally get a new bath or shower of your dreams, Bath Fitter of St. Louis makes that process incredibly easy. Mark Cox here from my friends at Bath Fitter. In just a day, with no demolition or mess, Bath Fitter of St. Louis can install a new, beautiful bath or shower. Right now, you can get 20% off up to $1,000 or 5 years of no-interest financing, plus a lifetime guarantee. Call them at 636-338-1648. Tell them Mark Cox sent you.
After a decade of rising home values, Fed Chair Powell says we're entering a difficult market correction. Translation, your home's value is likely to plunge. That's bad news for all homeowners, but especially if you're retired or nearing retirement and need the cash that's tied up in your home. Here's a smart solution, TrueHold. TrueHold will buy your home today before values plunge. But here's what makes TrueHold unique. You can continue living in your home with a comfortable rent. The cash is yours now to do whatever you like. Travel and enjoy retirement, invest it, pay off all your bills, whatever. TrueHold even covers property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. TrueHold is the simple, easy solution to unlock financial freedom without having to move and disrupt your life. Discover how much TrueHold will give you now, while its value is high. Call 855-300-9993. Again, 855-300-9993. That's TrueHold. Visit TrueHold.com. TrueHold.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. The Mark Reardon Show.
Josh Crossour, 97.1 Political Insider.
If you want two Democrats who do not have great political judgment, Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren at the top of the list.
Oh, yeah.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Baby's black balloon makes her fly. Almost fell into that hole in your life. You're not thinking about tomorrow. 'Cause you were the same as me, but on your knees.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I had some people asking. So we teased last Thursday, and then I wasn't here Friday, so that was real fun. It was not fun, for the record. Not fun.
It sounded like a blast, but I guess
rude.
Oh,
Ryan.
sorry,
Ryan. Phrasing.
It was terrible. What's that?
Phrasing.
Well, no, there's like a weird noise there.
It made some mouth noises there. I'm sorry
What?
about that.
You did?
I just want everyone to know it was a mouth noise.
I don't know what it was, but I think I just did it.
I rolled this
right
tape.
after that.
It was pretty awful. It's,
Oh, we lost Annie already.
he said, anyway, you didn't hear that?
I thought it was a piece of Johnny Resnick singing. I didn't know what it was. That it was still the music trailing off. No, I didn't hear it.
We talked about big news, show news on Thursday, and then we have to determine when we're officially going to announce that, because there was talk that maybe we would do it Friday, and then I was sick President's Day last year. My whole family got just ravaged by some neurovirus or stomach virus or something. And when you have 6 people in a house and 3 toilets and a baby and everybody is sick, it is terribly exciting in like the worst possible way. I got really sick on Friday morning. It was about 3 a.m. and I was throwing up like crazy. And my husband was downstairs. Molly had woken up, so he took her downstairs to sit in the chair with her to get her back to sleep or something. And he didn't know I was sick. And so I was just trying to mind my own business and take care of myself. And then I was in the bathroom for like an hour, just feeling absolutely awful, miserable. And I finally got back to bed. And if you know what it's like to go through that stomach virus thing, by the time you finally get back into bed, you feel like you've won or maybe lost a battle. You're just laying in bed and you're like, why am I existing? And I'm laying there and I don't really understand the passage of time at that point in the early morning or late night, however you look at it. And all of a sudden I hear, Mom. And I'm like, I literally wasn't even sure if I heard it because I was so out of my sorts. And then I heard it again. And I went and in the bathroom and my daughter was in there. She's like, I really don't feel good. I'm like, I got news for you. You're sick. I was sick. I can't from the bed to the bathroom. I was so lightheaded that I was like, I cannot possibly take care of you. So then I had to get my husband up. And so he went and took care of her. And it was just the two of us that were sick. My husband took the day off to take care of her because I couldn't do it. And then my son ended up coming home from school. The other 3 people in our house never got sick. I don't know how that's possible, but it was miserable. Have people in your wife's school getting sick with stuff?
It's been a bad year, but not for stomach virus yet.
Wasn't this a natural thing to happen when everybody stayed inside for a year?
It seems like it had to, that it had to come back around like this. You talk about not feeling like you're even alive, when you have stomach issues or nausea.
You feel like you've been possessed.
I don't get how women go through pregnancies, because that is one symptom that my wife had the entire pregnancy, both times. And she would say, oh, you just get used to it. And I can't imagine getting used to that, because anytime I feel it, I'm like, somebody just end it. I can't handle this.
It got worse with each of my kids. And with Molly, I threw up every morning and every night.
Oh, gosh.
Pretty much the entire pregnancy.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it.
I was miserable to be around. My kids, I think they like the idea of having another sibling, but it is not worth mom being pregnant.
I understand.
Like, if I ever don't feel good, they look at me like, Mom, and I'm like, I'm not pregnant, leave me alone.
But you constantly had to tell yourself, because this is what my wife did. She would constantly be telling herself out loud, like, Katie, remember, this is a blessing.
The only way to explain it, I remember sitting in my shower, and we have a stand-up shower that is in our bathroom. I was sitting in the bottom of the shower, miserable. Nothing made you feel better. And I was maybe 11 weeks, 12 weeks in, and I said, this is what prison feels like. Because this has to be what it feels like to be incarcerated, because there is an end to this. And with every kid, when I gave birth, I am telling you, the second that baby was out of me, I felt better.
Of course.
I mean, dramatically better. And I would just walk, people, you have a baby and everyone dotes on you and tries to take care of you. I'm like, I feel great. Let's do things. Let's go places. Let's accomplish stuff. And we'd be at home, and my husband would be holding the newborn, and I'd be up like doing stuff in the kitchen or dishes or whatever. He'd be like, Annie, sit down. Let me take care of it. I'm like, no, I haven't done anything other than make that baby in my stomach for 9 months and feel freaking awful. I would like to do things. Like, if you want me to be happy, let me go do things right now. Anyway, that's what I had a glimmer. Every time I get sick, I think about that, being pregnant. Miserable.
Leave me alone, Jared. I'm making omelets. I feel like $1 million.
It's like a very exciting, probably 6 weeks of just reclaiming who you are as a individual human being. Regardless, that's a big departure from the fact that we were going to announce something on Friday, or discussing the possibility of announcing it. That big announcement is still coming. I did talk in the last segment about how I'm working with Leslie Marshall to get her on the show. Can't wait to have that conversation on the air with you. We've just gone back and forth several times, kind of said, let's put a pin in this, get through the holidays. And so I am hoping to get her on in the next couple of days, or maybe the next week or so. Is there anything, Ryan, you are a Republican, you are a conservative, correct?
That would be correct.
Is there anything that you're not, that you're like, yes, but this issue, not so much? Nope.
I'm trying to think, because there used to be a special place in my heart, and this was before this all changed though, for immigration, and even illegal immigration. But it has gotten so out of hand that there's just no way to slice this in any other way other than this is a huge national security problem. I was always.
How does that make you potentially not Republican or conservative?
It doesn't.
The question I'm asking you is,
okay,
are you Republican, conservative? Is there any issue where you were like, I'm a strong Republican, conservative, but not really so much on this issue?
Not anymore. Not really.
And Brad, you said.
When I think about it, about the only example that I could come up with is support for single mothers. If we're going to make abortion unthinkable, then we have to have options for these women that will not put them in a bad place. So generally the Republican stance is like, we're not a really big fan of like social safety
Subsidies
and whatnot. And I am like in Illinois, the is it WIC, I think is what it's called,
women, infants, and children.
Yeah, where we take care of, I mean, that helped my brother pay the medical bills for his daughters for a long time. And so stuff like that, I think that there's something there. And that really comes from my Christian faith. You know, true religion is ones that help the widows and the orphans. You know, I think that if we step in and help in that instance, I think that's a good thing. But that's about kind of where I'm at, you know. So my liberal leanings come from a conservative desire to see life valued and to end abortion, if that makes sense.
If your end goal there is to end abortion, you're not going to get Democrats to agree with that.
No.
But what I heard you say is that you see value in financially supporting women who are raising children specifically by themselves. Because let's be honest, a lot of these women, should they not choose abortion, would not, you know, have a stand-up dad next to them that are going to help them go through. That is the inequity of that situation. I would say that's a God-made situation. The woman has the baby. Is that controversial? I don't care. The woman has the baby, and the man can choose. Go watch a Dave Chappelle special on this. It's unbelievable. Dave Chappelle covers this. He says that if a woman has a right to choose whether or not to be an active participant in the life of a baby, and her actual choices for that baby are life or death, then how can a man and a father, how can his choices not be support or don't? If he chooses not to support in that situation, the baby still has life. A woman's choice is life or death. And the way he has this whole conversation makes you ask the question of yourself. If you're going to say, because what he's advocating for in his stand-up is, on the surface, is saying, hey, if women have the right to choose, I think men should have the right to choose as well. And he's advocating using the standard set of rules that are out there right now in the pro-choice, pro-abortion conversation to say that, you know, women shouldn't have to shoulder this burden on their own. And you talk about how a woman who has an unintended, unplanned, or unwanted pregnancy, should she choose to go through that, her life will be incredibly, dramatically, permanently altered should she go through having that child. If she chooses to keep that child and raise that child, it will be a financial drain on her. It will be a time drain on her. It will cause her professionally to have to make sacrifices that she wouldn't have to before. Why is it that the woman gets to have that choice and the man doesn't? So he's advocating in his stand-up for the man to, what he's advocating for is men's choice. And when he's advocating for it, he's making points that make it sound ridiculous to suggest that a man should be able to opt out of that. But then what's the ultimate conclusion? That if a man shouldn't have that choice, should we be asking ourselves if a woman does as well? There is no greater advancement for the irresponsibility and the ignoring of natural consequence for your actions for men than abortion. Abortion allows men off the hook at the consequence of a woman having to choose to A, do it all by herself, or B, end the life of a baby. Abortion advances men's ability for sexual freedom immensely more than women's. Regardless, with all that being said, Brad makes a really great point. It's something that I talk about here as well when it comes to two heartbeats, which is what I always want people to focus on when they talk about abortion issues, because the conversation from the Republican side of the aisle when it comes to abortion is I think it's a little archaic, and I think that we're maybe moving away from it a little bit, but it's always about baby murder. That's not really like the best way to persuade a woman who is terrified and alone, and we can discuss the reasons why they're doing this all by themselves, but let's talk about what happens if the woman keeps the baby. Do we help her then? Because we can't judge her one way or the other and not judge him. She didn't get there by herself. Never did she get there by herself. But we judge her, and if he's not around to judge, she bears the burden really times 3. How do we empower her to choose life, especially if abortion is legal and it's going to continue to be? I think that the support for the woman who chooses life is a good position, and I am willing to financially support that with my tax dollars.
That sounds like the difference between being pro-life and anti-abortion, because one of those says, we understand the situation you're in. You have a choice to make. We want to make sure that you make the right one and help you make the right one. And here's how you do that going forward. The other one just says, don't do it. And being pro-life really needs to be more all-encompassing.
When you think about the federal tax dollars, the state tax dollars that go to help Planned Parenthood because they provide women's health services, imagine those tax dollars going to help places, even private sector businesses that meet a certain set of standards that don't include abortion, that provide counseling services, medical services, parenting classes, even potentially, I would throw it out there because I know how difficult it is, and my situation is a bit more ideal than many of these women who we're talking about. Childcare services, to an extent, career services for these women who choose life. And then I would add the father. There should be a financial responsibility for that father that follows them around. Father should be tied into the lives. And if you don't want to be present, that's fine. But we need your Social Security so that if you ever have a tax return and there's money coming back to you, it goes to your child first. Because I think that the idea of consequence-free sex in this community can only exist if abortion is promoted, not just accepted. That's a good one. You have one?
Well,
an idea when we come back? This is a tease. Let me
yes,
walk you through this.
I have another, I'll say. Yes.
Ryan, do you have any brilliant thoughts on where Republicans and Democrats could come together?
Oh my gosh, I'm blushing, but yes, I do.
Well, after the break,
Okay.
Ryan Wiggins will regale you with his brilliance, his bridge crossing, party uniting. This is about like soda machines in all the classrooms.
No, this is me standing in the center of the bridge, having paid the toll to the troll, standing in the middle of the bridge.
Just trying to rhyme.
And extending an olive branch.
Yeah, guys and gals. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Air Comfort Service, online at aircomfortservice.com, helping you stay in your comfort zone. Yeah, even when it's 10 degrees outside, man, I'm a doofus. And I went out to my car to get something, and it was so cold. And then I walked back in doing what? Carrying my coat. I would have yelled at my kids for that. When you come inside and it's warm and it's cozy, you know what your comfort zone feels like. And if you were moving into your house and it's drafty and you can feel the air moving around your house when the furnace isn't blowing, you want to make sure that the insulation in your house is not working against you. 9 out of 10 homes are under insulated. And Air Comfort Service has a new service to help you assess the insulation in your home and to update the insulation in your home. If you go to aircomfortservice.com/insulation, you'll learn about their services, and they can help you make sure that you are not overpaying in your energy costs because your furnace is working fine, but the air is seeping out to heat that 10-degree cold freaking weather outside. It's awful. Make sure your furnace is in good working order, but also the insulation is in tip-top shape in your home. Go to aircomfortservice.com/insulation.
Football's biggest game of the year is coming up February 12th. But if you're looking to travel in 2023, the biggest day of the year for you is February 4th. It's AAA Travel Marketplace. It's the super big, can't-miss travel event of the year. AAA Travel Marketplace features tons of cruise and tour partners all under one roof with limited-time special offers for huge savings on your next dream vacation. AAA Travel Marketplace, Saturday, February 4th, 9 a.m. till noon at the Holiday Inn at Watson and Lindbergh in Sunset Hills. Get all the info at AAA.com/travel show.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
Your investments. Join me and fellow Stifel financial advisor Bob Stockdale during On the Money, Saturday mornings from 11 until noon on 97.1 FM Talk. Stifel, member NYSE and SIPC.
Hi, Chad Hansen from Hansen's Tree Service. Much like the human body, trees require a specific combination of nutrients to thrive. Our certified arborists can come to your property and prescribe the ideal treatment to ensure your trees and plants thrive this coming season. Check us out today at hansenstree.com and take advantage of our winter savings.
The warmth of your furnace, the coziness of your gas fireplace, warm cookies from the oven, and a hot shower after a long day. This winter, take time to appreciate the gas that powers your home. Gas is flammable and can become dangerous if there's a leak. This message from the Missouri Association of Natural Gas Operators.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Celebrating 22 years as St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Thanks for being a part of it. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for being here today. Today's YouTube live chat poll: should George Santos resign? Yes or no? We're going to talk about that here in a second, but we've been discussing issues, big or small. They could be super small, that as a Republican, the three of us in here are Republicans, conservatives, unashamed to say so, but what issues are out there right now? And we've had great discussions taking place. I was catching up in the comments on the YouTube channel of things that some of our friends that comment every day on the left are saying, these are some places where I think I am a little bit more with the right, not that they lean right, but they just see it that way. And Ryan, you had an idea that you were going to share with us here about something that you think Republicans and Democrats could come together. What is it?
Yep. Reaching across the aisle with this one, because it's not something I typically would want to do, but in light of compromise, I think that one way that you could get in a state like Illinois, for instance, or a state that maybe isn't even as blue as Illinois, but a state like Michigan, you could propose, and I would like to propose this, I don't know if it'd get any traction, that if you were to agree, like Democrats would agree with Republicans on school choice, that Republicans would agree with Democrats on providing that school choice starting even pre-K. Because that's been a Democrat initiative for a while, is to add care,
child care,
pretty much before kindergarten. And there's been pushback because they're like, well, gosh, you're basically taking care of them cradle to grave. So I get that argument, but I would be willing to concede that if Democrats would allow school choice, because then people could also choose where to take their kids regardless of what age they are.
That will never happen. there's no
darn it.
There's no compromise from Democrats on school choice because the education system is a pillar, and the teachers unions are a money bag for them. That's foundationally, I don't think possible.
Yeah, I was going to say I have one, and my thoughts were, if you could take
on this issue.
No, this would be a different issue.
I don't think that you can take the cash cow that the teachers unions are.
No.
And the voting bloc that they are. If school choice becomes a regular thing, it's a house of cards that comes crashing down. There's no reason why I think politically Democrats would ever concede on that.
What if I stood in the Illinois State House with a guitar and I said, "Come on, people now."
That might have worked on
Smile
Katie,
on your brother.
but I don't know that it'll work on
Your wife?
the General Assembly.
I'm willing to do what it takes. Is my point.
I think you should do that.
Okay.
All next week.
But make sure you spend about
Noon to
10
3.
minutes tuning the guitar before you do it.
It's in the Illinois State Capitol.
Who's
Doesn't
this
know how
guy?
to play guitar, but he's singing right
You
on.
probably walk out of there with some kind of subsidy. You're going to be paying for it.
They passed the Pay Ryan to Go Away Act.
I mean, I'm a huge advocate for school choice, like a fiery advocate for school choice. It would benefit my family greatly. I live in an area where property taxes are very, very, very high. And I can't remember what the percentage of, but it's something like 80%, maybe even more of the property taxes that I pay go into the education system in the school district. I'm not inherently opposed to the idea of publicly funded education, because I want to make sure that when kids are out there and they don't have the same sort of access that I would have financially, that they still produce an educated public. But we cannot, I don't understand how anybody can explain to me that, let's say, $7,000 a year annually in property taxes that I would pay. And there are people in Missouri going, "Good grief, Annie, what kind of house do you live in?" It's not what you think. I mean, I've looked at comparable homes on Missouri to mine in St. Charles just to see, like, what's the comparison here. They are less than half of what I pay to live in the same house. I mean, it's more than double to live in Illinois with that property taxes. If I'm paying $7,000 or more in property taxes to live in a very serviceable, nice suburban home, but there's nothing fancy about my house. $7,000 in property taxes, and the vast majority of that's going to education. I have 4 children, 3 of them that are of school age. None of them are taking up a seat in a public school classroom, because I choose to send them to a Lutheran school, because that's very, very important to me. And now there are a whole host of other reasons why I send them there. But the most important thing is a Christian education. How can anybody make the point to me that while my kids are in school, my kids shouldn't have the benefit of those educational dollars that I'm spending? The only way that you make that case is for people who care more about the system and keeping the system status quo than they care about the actual education of children who exist in those school districts. My kids. You don't care about my kids. You care about your system. But the system is what perpetuates itself, which is why they wouldn't. I don't think Democrats would give an inch on that. Not politically.
Okay, fine.
We were so close to fixing that.
I almost had it.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with it.
I'm not like...
I think in a state where it's close, that could help a little bit, but it wouldn't be in like a state like Illinois.
Yeah. Bummer. Maybe we should move. Not us. Hey, big stuff coming at 2:25. Don't go away.
If you own a home in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes, stlouis.com at 314-782-8000 and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant homes, inherited homes, fixer-uppers, beautiful homes, even the tenant who won't pay the rent apartment. Google us. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out our best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move according to your schedule and your terms. Go to our website, chrisbuyshomes.st.louis.com, or call Chris at 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000, and get the offer you've been waiting for. 314-782-8000.
IGotFloored.com, Michael's Flooring Outlet's website. You can visit it right now. And if you were looking for new floors in St. Louis and St. Charles area, if you were looking for a business that you can feel very happy taking your hard-earned dollar into and spending it there because you're getting top quality flooring with fantastic value with a sales staff that knows what they're talking about. They sell flooring. That's what they do. They don't work in hardware one time, plumbing the next day, and you happen to talk to them when they were staffed in flooring. If you go to Michael's Flooring Outlet's website, which is IGotFloored.com, you can always go there and check out any promos that they have available to you at that moment. You can also request an estimate directly through the website. You can see their beautiful different styles of flooring. You can find the different brands if you're looking for the Mohawk Smart Strand brand of carpet, Techwood Plus types of flooring. You can shop in-store, you can shop at home, but it's all right there online. Just go to IGotFloored.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
An infrastructure tour rolls on. Lisa Brady, Fox News. First Maryland, now New York, as President Biden credits bipartisan efforts for major tunnel projects in the busy Northeast corridor. Important, he says, as part of improvements for the nation.
President Biden says it is critical that the Hudson River Tunnel be rebuilt now.
The structure is literally deteriorating. The roof is leaking, the floor is sinking. Plus, it was badly damaged by Superstorm Sandy.
The tunnel links New Jersey and New York, carrying products and people 24/7. The president says the new look will be twin tunnels with fewer delays. It's part of an overall gateway project replacing bridges and technology along the corridor.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Multiple sources confirming to Fox News that FBI agents searched the Penn Biden Center around mid-November after the initial discovery of classified information in the president's former office there. The sources also say the president's team was fully aware of the search and that consent was given. Lawmakers lining up a lot of questions for the CEO of TikTok, who agrees to appear at a March hearing over privacy and security concerns, including whether the Chinese government has any access to user data.
The CEO's testimony comes as the momentum for a nationwide ban of the platform is growing. Already, about half of states have banned access to TikTok on state devices.
That's in addition to a ban on federal government devices. There's also concern about the app's impact on children.
Nearly 2 out of 3 American teens say they use TikTok. And according to the Pew Research Center, anxiety or depression is a top concern among parents, with more parents worried about mental health than they are concerned about kids being bullied, using drugs or alcohol, or even getting shot.
Fox Business's Lydia Hu. America is listening to Fox News.
As a Walgreens pharmacist, I talk with people all the time about little tips and tricks for filling their Medicare prescriptions, like taking advantage of Walgreens 90-day refills to save them a trip, or using Refill by Scan, which is super easy and right on your phone. And for anybody worried about prescription costs, I say, hey, we got you, with low-cost copays on many medications.
Let's talk about making things easier. Walgreens is here. Fill your way and save at walgreens.com/Medicare. See pharmacists for restrictions and exclusions.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number? Not me. Nope. Nuh-uh. Oh, no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Bundle up times continue 28. That's it for the high this afternoon. More and more clouds in control. These temps way below average. Tonight, cloudy skies, light winds, very cold again. 17 for the low. Wednesday, partly sunny. Obviously, a cold start out the door. It's a little bit better in the afternoon, but still cold. 38 up to 45 Thursday, back down to 35 Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group and Bob Kershaw, his wife Tammy, are making their living helping you make your living work for you in your retirement. Go to the Retirement Advisory Group online at retirementkey.com, and you can do your own little research about what they're about. But I want you to consider having that free consultation with them. You sit down, you have the talk about what you've done so far, what you've saved, and you discuss where you want to go. What does retirement look like for you? Does it happen like the hot second that you are eligible and you want to get out of working as fast as possible? Or do you really kind of like what you do? And maybe you have tiers as to, I definitely want to get to this age, but maybe might like to work to that age. As you go through those processes, you want to know, what does it look like if I retire at this age? Can I make it to that age? They will walk you through the whole thing, and you can sit down and have a no cost, no obligation review of your retirement by calling 314-993-9494. Give them a call. Tell them Annie sent you. retirementkey.com.
Download Upside and start getting cash back wherever you roll. It's like having your own hype man. Get an average of 17% cash back at restaurants.
Oh, it's dinner time.
Average of 13% on groceries.
Get those groceries.
10 cents per gallon average cash back on gas.
It's go time.
Plus, cash back at participating convenience stores too.
Stacks on stacks.
Users can earn hundreds of dollars a year, 3 times more than other apps.
Upside, show me that money.
All right, we get it. It's easy. Just sign up for the free Upside app and start getting cash back for doing you. Download the free Upside app and use promo code DOYOU for an extra $10 cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's promo code DOYOU for an extra $10 on the free Upside app. Get cash back for doing you with the free app from Upside.
With each breath, allergens, germs, and viruses get trapped in your nose. Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage. Available at Navage.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. Resolve to recycle more. Recycle paper, bottles, and cans directly, and recycle old clothes by donating them. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Big ideas, real debate, solid entertainment. You found it here.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Earlier in the show, we were discussing a little bit about Kamala Harris and the possibility that she is or is not going to be the VP on the next ticket.
I served with her on the Judiciary Committee. I like the vice president. I do not think she's been a good vice president. For whatever reason, every time she speaks, she shows us how much she doesn't know. I think she must do her research on Twitter.
Senator Kennedy, it's nice to hear him say that he likes her, but that she's not a good vice president. I don't know anything about her personally. It's not really of my interest to know anything about her personally, but she is a wildly ineffective vice president. And really, I think one of the first things that needs to be determined in the 2024 Democrat world, as far as the presidential ticket, is not so much as Joe Biden running again, but what do we do with Kamala? I think that's the number one thing, because if Joe Biden if Joe Biden runs for re-election, the question is, do you keep Kamala? If Joe Biden doesn't run for re-election, the obvious heir to the benefit of being an incumbent is Kamala. So if Joe Biden, it's almost as if, because I think Kamala Harris would be an epic disaster of great proportions for the Democrats to run her as the nominee. It almost seems like the number one way to keep Kamala Harris from running for president is to rerun Joe Biden and replace her.
So you're rerunning Joe Biden.
I mean,
but
I would love to.
but she's not on the ticket this time.
I don't think she is. And
Okay.
if she isn't, she's going to have to be done.
Well, that was my next question, because wouldn't it blow all of our minds if the sitting vice president was not chosen for the next ticket and decided to run against the sitting president in the primary?
There'd be that would be wild, but it would be so mortifyingly embarrassing to watch the entire Democratic Party pull you off the ticket and then run and be like, I'll show you, knowing that she has tried this multiple times and never gotten the support of anybody. So she wouldn't, I don't know. I wouldn't if I were her. Just trying to be diplomatic. It would not be the smartest decision to do that. There's nobody calling for more Kamala Harris.
Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe
Except for maybe Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris and the 12% of the population who's,
really likes a yellow
parties.
school bus.
Yeah.
I was looking for any word salad on here from her. I don't see any. And I think that's because you know that it usually would be not worth your time to pull
anymore.
it. No, I was looking for, I'm like, I don't want to hear
Because
that.
there's some there almost every day.
Yeah. That's a conscious decision by the show to not run that stuff. I hope that people appreciate that. There are folks who detest her who want to hear that because there's a weird, pleasurable glee that comes from hearing how ridiculous she sounds. It really doesn't bring me any level of pleasure at all.
It does ruin her political chances, though, right?
Is your phone on right now?
Apparently, I put it in my pocket and it dinged.
Who's trying to get a hold of you? It's important.
My dad.
What did he say?
I don't know.
What Bob Wiggins say?
Let me see.
Yeah, we need wisdom from the sage.
He wants to be a part of the show?
Should we invite him on?
Don't make a bad decision and read a text on the air that shouldn't be.
I'm not going to.
I think Bob Wiggins would be a great contestant on X's and O's.
Ooh, that might be kind of fun. Somebody's got to convince him to do it. I don't think he would want to.
Anyway, I don't see a single soul out there saying Kamala Harris should absolutely, who I believe believes it, because there are a lot of people who are saying it because they can't not say it. Just like Joe Biden will be running for re-election until they announce that he isn't. There will be an instance, maybe there will be a medical development, maybe there will be a family development. There will be something that says, I believe that the priority that I need to have right now in my life is to my family. And because of my love for this country and my greater love for these important people in my life, I'm going to step aside and anoint whomever is next. Kamala Harris can't primary Joe Biden.
Be awfully fun, though. I'd be watching it with some popcorn and trail mix.
Yeah, for all of like 2 seconds, and then she has to drop out because she's not pulling 1% of the vote.
I know, but that's why it would be fun.
Why is that fun? My question with what do you do with Kamala Harris? So if Joe Biden runs, you're going to replace her. What do you tell her?
Just understand that it's not our problem. It isn't. I mean, like that's really incredibly important here in this equation, is that if Kamala Harris is not the vice president on the next ticket or the nominee, that's her problem. That is not our problem. And you don't go from being the vice, you don't get entrusted with the responsibility of the VP office and then go, oh, well, we think you could really be Secretary of the Interior. Like, that doesn't happen. You don't go backwards without shame. So you go somewhere else. She'll go make loads of money speaking at fancy places all across the world. There will be something in it for her, but it won't be our problem. Who does Joe Biden replace on the ticket?
Who does he replace her with?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I hope it's not J.B. Pritzker.
No.
Or
There's no reason to do that.
or Gavin Newsom. I don't really know. I mean, maybe he's like an Amy Klobuchar, something like that.
No.
She can hold her own.
I think it's a Mayor Pete. I think that, checks another box for them, and it promotes somebody who, at least whenever he talks, he sounds somewhat competent whenever he's talking. And
That's his number one asset.
Is that he sounds competent.
He just sounds competent.
He talks a big game.
If you put somebody up who is like that and you have him next to, Kamala Harris is the gift that keeps on giving for Joe Biden. If you put somebody up there who's articulate, well-spoken, on point, next to Joe Biden, it's like...
It really
but
is.
remember what we talked about earlier in the show is this person is going to be the closest anybody's ever been, because you're talking about an 80-plus-year-old man at this point. The vice president is going to be in there, and I think Mayor Pete would be a more palatable replacement for Joe Biden should something happen, especially if he seems articulate and Joe Biden doesn't. That, I think that helps their cause and doesn't hurt it.
It would be such a gift to Democrats if they had just an average, even an Al Gore-like vice president right now. Because he wasn't beloved, but he was just there. He was fine. People had no opinion of him. If they had just that guy would be anointed, or girl would be anointed ahead of time. But they don't even have that.
Girl.
Hey, girl.
There's some big George Santos news today.
Now, we just got out of conference, and George has voluntarily removed himself from committees as he goes through this process, but ultimately voters decide. And I'm very proud that in New York State, we flipped 5 districts to help deliver us the majority. And ultimately, voters make this decision about who they elect to Congress.
That's Elise Stefanik, who said that George Santos voluntarily removed himself from committees. He might have been voluntold, but we'll never know. Today's YouTube live chat poll question. So if you go to the Anti-Frey YouTube channel in the live chat where we've got folks conversing right now about all sorts of issues, is should George Santos resign? Yes or no? Brad, should he resign?
I'm still with he should do what his constituents want. I think it's up to his constituents. He lied. There's no doubt there. He's lied about a lot of stuff, but he didn't lie to me.
He lied to them.
Yeah, he lied to them. He didn't lie to me. They voted for him. I didn't vote for him. I actually didn't have anything to do with George Santos getting elected. So I still go back to, I don't know. If his constituents want him, then no. But if they don't, then yes.
I'm not disagreeing with you at all, but that's very Pontius Pilate of you.
It is, but it's the right thing.
Well, what about you, Ryan? Should George Santos resign? Yes or no?
I will say yes. I will say it with a strong
I
contingency.
hope he doesn't.
I will say this.
Yeah.
He should say, I announce I will resign because it is clear that I have lied to people. I will resign when Adam Schiff resigns, who also consistently lies to people. That's what he should that's what he should do politically. It would be very smart to put the spotlight on somebody else.
Man, the cynic in me, though, says, no, don't resign. This pearl clutching from the left is just too delicious. I love watching them freak out and seeing the hypocrisy on full display. And I just sit there, eat my popcorn while they're like, George Santos lied about everything.
Yeah. George Santos is the momentary, but what about Donald Trump? George Santos has gotten some serious clout. There are 435 members in the House of Representatives. There's no reason why anyone should know who George Santos is. He is
it's such a stupid story.
He's so popular. Art on YouTube says, excellent poll question today. I voted yes. Santos is proven to be a security intelligence risk.
Well, he won't be on a committee then.
I mean, Art, I'm not saying that's wrong. But what about Swalwell and Schiff, specifically those two who are not capable of handling intelligence? They constantly leak and they sleep with Chinese spies.
Taking national security information from the Intelligence Committee, spinning it and changing it and making it into a different thing, and then going to the media. You can't get much worse than that.
Just stop for a second here and think about this, folks. What if we just found out that George Santos was sleeping with a Chinese spy?
I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't either.
I'd go, well, it's Tuesday.
But if that happened, the left, they would pull their hair out because they would say, look, he did this thing you've been complaining about all of the time. You've been saying Eric Swalwell did this and George Santos does it. He needs to resign. And they'd be losing their minds. And we'd be like, we know.
Yes, yes.
We've been saying welcome to the party. And then you say, Eric Swalwell, you go first, which is kind of what you were saying.
Yes.
But if you found out that George Santos was somehow or another on the Intelligence Committee, and I still don't underestimate his ability to find himself on that committee. If you found out that he was privy to classified information or to documents that are information, whatever, intelligence, and all of a sudden it started getting leaked to Newsmax. And Newsmax was getting all this information and it was getting broadcast. And where's this coming from? And all of a sudden George Santos is saying, this is what I can tell you, but there's a lot more here. They'd be outraged, and they should be. I get it. I'm with you on that. I don't want him to sleep with a Chinese spy. That's not what I'm saying.
Are you sure? Go on the record here, please.
No.
Okay.
No. Not at all. Not me.
Please watch the live stream to see what she was really doing there.
It's open-ended. Speaking of, when we come back, we're going to talk about your debut.
Ooh, that's right.
Our debut, not just mine.
Your
collectively.
Debut. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
I just want to clarify your
flatter
pronouns.
yourself. I was. Can I say something real quick about pronouns?
You know what? It's your show. I say go right ahead.
This has been bothering me a little bit, just from like a grammatical place.
Please.
Pronouns are generally used outside of the presence of the person.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Go on.
It seems really controlling to be like, I want to monitor what you say when you're not around me.
That's not what I was expecting you to say, but there's truth in that.
Ryan, let me ask you what your pronouns are. Do you know what pronouns are?
Yes.
First, what are pronouns? Second, what are yours?
Mine are G and J.
Just be real.
He and hey.
I hate you. He and hey. He and what? What are they? This is serious.
He, him.
Stop.
Okay.
So when this is the way this goes. When we talk about Ryan and he's not here, I say to Brad, yeah, and then he blah 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 blah. And what am I supposed to do with him? And da 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 da. This is how these conversations go whenever Ryan's not in the room. He doesn't know what pronouns I'm using for him. Or he, hey.
Yeah. My pronouns are he and haw.
There are instances where maybe Ryan would be sitting in the room and maybe Trisha comes in and I'll be like, oh, he doesn't need one. And so I may say that in front of you.
G.
But it's not, the majority use of pronouns are not used in front of the person who they are referring to. Especially in an education situation. A teacher will maybe use pronouns towards children a lot more, but the idea that teachers on all these TikToks that are coming up are so over the top about the usage of pronouns and telling kids what their pronouns are. They're just like in the course of conversation, they're generally not used in your presence. It just seems like there's a lot of things that you should be worried about what are being discussed about you not in your presence more than how you are referred to. But I digress.
It's such an interesting point. But because the one that I wanted to make about this always is that
I don't know. Can I pre-approve on the break?
No. I have to say this. Some pronouns are meant to be singular and some are meant to be plural. You can't just decide that some are
no, you
plural.
Can. If you can call yourself Moon and Moon Self,
but that's
they is not something that is. I'm not going to die on the they bridge.
That one drives me crazy.
You know what? I will not call you they, but I will call you Moon.
Yeah, I am Froger and Gert Self.
I don't, like I said, just strictly from a grammatical situation, those pronouns are usually not used in the presence of the person they're referring to, which makes it just seem like a lot of stress for something that you could just pretend you didn't even know. Anyway, let's take a break. And then I will pre-approve anything that Ryan's going to say in the rest of the show. Ryan and Brad made something, and it involved dancing. And we are going to have a premiere here on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. After this next segment, we're going to get Anna and Hannah back in the studio here to talk a little bit about what it was like, because we hit 4,000 subscribers months ago.
Booyah shaka.
What? Watch your language.
You're not supposed
Is
to
that
talk.
approved
She
or
has
not?
to approve that.
But here's the deal. We are 60 subscribers away from 5,000 now. So just in time, this dance that they said they would do for 4,000 has been done. I have seen it. You can't unsee it. And we will premiere it here on the Annie Frey YouTube channel during the stream on the next break. So get over there right now and join us. And let's concoct something for them to do after we get 60 more subscribers at 5,000. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
He was a skater boy. She said, see you later, boy. He wasn't good enough for her. Now he's a superstar, slamming on his guitar to show pretty face see what he's worth. He was a skater boy. She said, see you later, boy. He wasn't good enough for her. Now he's a superstar.
FoleyDentalGroup.com, FoleyDentalGroup.com. If you're looking for a new dentist, if you are looking for a dentist that can see you, that can see everybody in your family. I really appreciate how comfortable my kids are at Foley Dental Group. They have no fear of the dentist. They understand when they go in there, they're going to get their teeth clean. They're going to take x-rays. The whole environment is incredibly inviting for people of all ages. If you have that pain nagging in the back of your mouth, you've been dealing with it, you feel like you have more trepidation about going to the dentist than you do about chewing food on that side of your mouth. Why are you chewing food on only one side of your mouth? Don't do that. Go get it taken care of in an incredibly comfortable way by people who are going to treat your whole health through that dental visit experience. They are taking new appointments right now, taking new patients right now. Go to the dentist for the Frey family. It's Foley Dental Group. Brand new facility at 270 and 159. Easy to get to from anywhere. Online at FoleyDentalGroup.com.
Secrets, cover-ups, and strange phenomena.
UFOs and ideas that challenge reality itself.
My name is George Knapp. I dig into news stories that others can't or won't.
I'm Jeremy Corbell, and for some reason, people tell me things they probably shouldn't. And this is Weaponized. Follow and listen to Weaponized, a presentation of Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp, Dark Horse Entertainment, and Cadence 13 Studios. Available now for free on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your shows.
The federal government is hiring 87,000 new IRS employees and enforcement agents. Make no mistake, with spending out of control, they're looking to collect revenue. The first target will be you. If you have not paid your taxes or filed them in years, let me help you get that target off your back. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. So if you have unfiled returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent. But then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel is all conversation-based, so it gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
You'll really see a difference in how you can speak and how conversational you can be in just a few weeks.
Babbel isn't just lessons. You can listen to podcasts, play games, watch videos. You can even take live online classes with a language teacher. There are so many ways to learn with Babbel.
The lessons online and in the app make it easy to learn from pretty much anywhere.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Second Amendment Radio is a staple of solid firearm information on 97.1 every weekend. Saturday from 3 to 4 and Sunday from noon to 1. It's Second Amendment Radio and the great outdoors. 97.1 FM Talk.
County Road 233 under my feet. Nothing on this wide rock but a little Oakley. I got 2 miles till he makes Bill. And if I'm right, we're headed straight for Hill. I'm going home, gonna load my shotgun.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. JB on the Annie Frey YouTube channel just said, AFS, I come to the show daily because of your talk and antics. Ryan?
Would this be considered antics? I consider this to be just part of the job description. Just coming in and clocking in and doing my job.
That's the thing. We need to talk about your job description.
Do we? Maybe we could do that later on a different day.
What's your problem? What are you doing?
Like I said, this is part of this is part of the job description. I just come in, I clock in, I do these voices. And
Do you
stuff.
try these antics out on your children at home?
No, they don't pay me.
Do they pay you here?
Very little. They don't. If they paid me more, it'd be all voices all the time.
That's
but
probably why they
right
don't.
Is
I
just
don't
a
think
couple.
you're advocating for the direction of your income that you think you are.
Well, guess we'll find out. And unfortunately, you'll be right.
No, that's that voice again. We've got Anna and Hannah in the studio. This is a very easy row here to remember. Annie, Hannah, Anna.
Whoa.
We can get Abby in here too if she's out there. So we set out. When was this? I feel like it was before. Was it before Halloween or was it right after Halloween? Maybe November.
Halloween. Really?
Yeah, it was right after Halloween because we did Halloween because we hit 4,000 and we all had to dress.
No, not.
Or no, that was
500 or 3,000 or something.
Yeah. No, it was because we had to. That was on a poll.
Yeah. Okay. But I think it was right after Halloween.
I think it was that long ago. Yeah.
And so we said if we had
I've been slacking this long.
4,000. That's why I started threatening you, Hannah.
Oh, yeah, Hannah's like, don't call me out.
So we said if we got to 4,000 subscribers, Hannah said she would teach these boys in here a dance, and they do a viral dance.
Yeah, and that is a tall order because
not terribly tall, average, short.
I suffer from CRD.
I would say half an inch over average order.
It's a short order.
Thanks, Ryan.
So
I was a cook for a while at a diner. And you know what they called me?
You were?
Short stuff.
Nope, they called
Half
me
stack.
a long order cook. That's how tall I am.
You were so tall, they called you long.
That's all crap. Right?
Well, most of the time they call them short order cooks. You understand the joke.
I understand what you said. I'm saying you just made all of that up.
Yes.
Ryan.
So shockingly, we got to 4,000 subscribers. We're still trying to get behind the science as to how that happened because we know that YouTube doesn't really work to pad shows like ours with extra attention. Yes?
Yes.
Anna, I don't know. I'm asking you this on the spot here, but you work with a lot of different people in this building, a lot of different shows. Is there any way that you can identify the way things work with us versus other places? Or do you not?
I don't know. It kind of depends. I mean, funny videos do better than the political videos. And I don't know if that's because YouTube doesn't push them out as much or what it is, but it is interesting because I do think political videos get more comments because people will get more heated about it. So
Engagement.
Yeah. So it is interesting seeing those videos too.
But if I think of myself as a consumer of short video, which is a definite rage right now in social media, I'm much more interested in watching a short video of something funny than I am of like someone making some air quotes brilliant political point.
We know what we should do though. from now on is do a funny video. Hey, we're cracking up about doing short order cook diner
And then
jokes.
Hannah can help, slips in some conservative values.
And at the very end, she
there we
looks
go.
right into the camera and says, socialism will ultimately make you poorer.
It's like subliminal messaging.
Yes.
You should just cut. You should really just cut like a bunch of videos that Anna can use to just tack onto the back of our videos.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get on that.
That would be interesting.
Why did her hair and clothing change at the end there?
People watching and be like, what the heck was that?
Jump scare.
She's not wrong. Yeah. We'll do it in innovative, creative ways.
Then finish with the wink.
Yeah. Hannah can absolutely help. So we got to 4,000 subscribers. If you were watching on the YouTube channel right now, go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We've got an increased amount of people who are here to see whatever it is that we're about to show you. And boy, I am about to show you something here when we go to a break. But here's the thing. We have 4,946. I'm working on it here. Too many things at once. 4,946 subscribers. We are very close to 5,000 subscribers, which is a really great mark for a little show like ours, because I mean, honestly, until Anna came along, this is just our doing. There was very little help and encouragement because our job is to do the radio show. The radio always comes first. We are radio broadcasters who are able to basically simulcast what we're doing on a YouTube channel, which gives us an opportunity to develop a cooler relationship with you because A, you can see our faces, which is probably cooler in on some days more than others. But B, we can also read your comments, and there's a constant conversation taking place.
Oh, we
along with the
lost
show.
one.
Well, this is what happened last time. We are watching a live ticker that will show how many subscribers we get. So if we get to 5,000, we need to take suggestions as to what we should do at that point. We got to 4,000. We got the dance. Hannah, I'll let you kind of set the table a little bit about what people are going to see when we go. We're going to show the video. It's hard to show a video of dancing on the radio and make that make sense. But the making of this video is hilarious. So we're going to debut and premiere the video on the break. Talk to us about what you guys did.
So
today.
I'll kind of lay it out. So Anna and I both were dancers. We've danced for a long time, so we know choreography. We know stuff like that.
What did you dance in high school?
I danced since I've been like 6, 5, 4.
I think Ryan Wiggins would say the same thing. Set yourself apart from his resume.
So we were assigned to choreograph a little dance. So we were kind of struggling for a while of what we were going to do. You know, there's so many options out there. So we decided to have the boys learn a more viral dance. And Anna and I changed a little bit of the choreography just
to
a
make it a little
bit
more challenging for the boys.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
A little more Ryan Wiggins-y.
And I've seen a little preview of this. I don't know if I've seen the final version, but I can tell you this. It is so viral. You need a mask to watch it.
Oh, you're going to say like antibiotics.
You need antibiotics.
So we tightened up the choreography a little bit, and we gathered up the boys today, brought them down, taught them the choreography. I will say I was very impressed with both the boys. They were men. Yes. Sorry.
We just went from boys to men. I have a ton of really good one-liners in this segment.
They learned.
Stop talking about it. Just do them.
Yes. They learned very
Stop
quickly.
always talking about your good things. Just do good things.
I'm having a pretty good time over here.
Harlem
That's
Shuffle.
all that matters. Oh, the Harlem Shuffle. The Harlem Shake.
Yeah, shake, not
Yeah.
shuffle.
Oh, teach them how to shuffle. You guys know how to shuffle dance?
I don't know if I know what that is.
Oh, I love shuffle dancing. I can't do it, but I'll show you a little bit. So
Anyway, the boys, they learned very,
Men.
very well.
Anna,
Sorry.
what's your dancing resume? Give us your
I've
clout
been
here.
dancing since second grade-ish. I danced competitively for a couple years, and then I continued taking classes all through college too.
Taking dance classes all through college.
Yep.
Okay, so you're a professional. And
Yeah.
I would like you to just kind of explain to us in the 4,000 subscriber video that these boys said that they would participate in, should we get there. What was it like to work with them? What kind of feedback did they give? Did they take it seriously? Were they intuitive about it? What kind of dancers are these?
Honestly,
boys?
I wish that we would have filmed their reactions when we went into both of their offices and told them it was time. because
Oh, man.
we just kind of walked up slowly and we were like, all right, it's time to dance. And they just both looked so disappointed. Like they were not.
Brad had this look of fear. It was just, and they were both asking for each other. They're like, well, where's Brad? Where's Ryan? They just like, they were looking for one another.
I'm sorry, he quit. You're going to have to do this by
Yeah.
yourself.
We're
It's
each
a
other's
solo.
emotional
We'll
support
add him in
bros.
post.
And we were going to record it in the studio, and both Brad and Ryan were like, I don't think there's enough room in here. We need somewhere bigger.
What kind of space do you guys need?
Oh, wait till
we
you
need
see
to
the
spread
video.
Our wings, literally and figuratively. And we did.
So you got them in there. There was a little trepidation. You were teaching them the choreography, Hannah.
Yes.
They got it pretty quickly?
Yep, they got it pretty quickly. Really didn't have any questions. They just kind of and then it made me think we should have made them do something maybe a little bit crazier because they were just
maybe for
rolling with the
5,000.
punches.
They were very confident.
Yes.
So Anna, you put this video together.
Yes.
As I understand, I have a 30-second video we're going to share. As soon as we go to a break here, I'm going to talk to you. I don't know. Ryan's going to talk to you a little bit about Fountain's Dentistry, and then we're going to show it after that. Or maybe we should show it while he's talking about Fountain's
If you
Dentistry.
do it while I'm talking about fountains, I
Would
really
Fountains
hope
appreciate that?
Fountains.
You might have to
we'll
pay
find
them for that
out.
one.
I don't know.
We're gonna go to a break. It's a 30-second video, and you're gonna be able to watch it and hear it on the YouTube live stream. So you have time right now to come join us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Would you please subscribe while you are there? We want to get to 5,000. I was hoping to do it by the end of the week. We've got 4,955 subscribers right now. We just need 45 of you to sign on, or one of you who has like a whole bunch of extra Google accounts to go subscribe on all of your Google accounts. Brad, you got the call, you answered the call. Your expectations of this video versus how the process went. Your thoughts?
This went a lot better than I thought it would go. Like, I thought it was going to be a train wreck. And while it is a train wreck, it's a very good train wreck. So
It's one that everybody wants to watch,
Yes.
which is what my interest is in the matter. Ryan, you were less. Brad has told me, I can't even count how many times how bad of a dancer he
I'm a
is.
terrible dancer.
You've never criticized yourself and your skills.
No, because I mean, while I have danced for money, I have never danced professionally. But these two have. Now, they have danced professionally and they're very good at
Oh,
it.
you said
So they said what they did was
Don't ask for more information.
Never mind.
they taught us real choreography. And so Brad and I went on a crash course. We were like actors in a movie about dancers.
Right.
Because we were just the actors. We don't
In
know this.
retrospective.
We're just doing the part of a dancer.
Right.
And so we stepped into that room really, really green. You know, we
Yeah.
didn't know. And so we said, let's just do this thing. Let's just throw caution to the wind and just do this thing. And we did.
How long are you going to do this?
Yeah.
I'm trying to filibuster.
For what?
Maybe if I can get to 3 o'clock, you just don't play it at all.
No, I'm pretty sure it's about to be on YouTube right now. Ryan, 0 to 5 stars. Brad's performance.
5.
You just said that because you wanted to say the same thing about you.
Because I clearly, when you watch it, well, no, I did not do any better than Brad. So there's no lying there. But yes, 5.
You
for
think Brad did a great job?
Absolutely.
5 stars.
Yeah.
Brad?
I would give
For Ryan?
Ryan 5 stars, but he kicked me and he
4.5.
punched me at one point. So 4.5.
On purpose, or that's just
some
where
violence.
where the limbs
I don't
went?
know. There's just some unwarranted touching as well. And I just don't know how I feel about that.
As long as it's between you two. We should go on a break. We are, like I said, we're going to show it after the break. Ryan's got to do a little business here right after. That sounds bad. Right outside.
Gotta go do my business outside. That's what you said.
Take it for walkies?
Yeah.
And this is terrible. And I'm going to play on the YouTube channel, Annie Frey YouTube channel, on the break, the video of these two gentlemen dancing. And I will add that Anna and Hannah join them at the last part of the video. So you're going to get to see them dancing a little bit as well. While you come watch this video with us, please subscribe. We are up to 4,963 subscribers. So we only need 37 more subscribers. I don't know that we can get to 5,000 by the end of the show, but that'd be really cool. Join us. We're going to show you this video on the break. Don't go away.
Hey, I'm going home, gonna load my shotgun, wait by the door and light a cigarette. He was a fire, well now he's got one, and he ain't seen me crazy yet. Slide my
is the Annie Frey Show.
I'm gonna show 'em what little girls are made of. Gunpowder and lead.
Man, you know who's cool? Fountains Family Dentistry. And I'm about to find out how cool they are because we mentioned them in the segment, and that's all fine. Because I say all the time, they're the nicest people in the world, and now we're going to put that to the test. So go see Fountains Family Dentistry, and they really are. Dr. Ty Parker is a good friend of mine. He is super fun to talk to. You can mention this if you want to when you go into Fountains Family Dentistry. Get your teeth cleaned because so many people have put it off for so long. If you missed pretty much the whole COVID era, you know, we're going into the season where the whole economy was shut down for 2-3 months at least, starting here in about a month and a half, about when you'd make an appointment. So you're going to have more available appointments if you call and you say, hey, I want to make an appointment in mid-March or April. You can pretty much get whatever you want, but they're super convenient. They're open late on days. They're open early on days. That's all for your schedule. And like I said, you will walk away from that appointment thinking those people are nice and they know what they're doing and they'll help you. Steve in the office there, he'll help you work through insurance, or even if you don't have insurance, give them a call. Everybody's there to help you. Fountains Family Dentistry is in Fairview Heights, Illinois. They're at fountains.familydentistry.com.
Hey, y'all, this is your girl, Cheryl Underwood, and I want to tell you something. My digestive system used to make me feel sluggish, but those days are over. Now I feel great. That's because I increased my fiber intake with the Metamucil 2-week challenge, and I'm still hooked. I just took Metamucil every day for 14 days, and it's...
I could have my Gucci on. I go wear my Louis Vuitton, but even with nothing on, bet I made you look. You look, yeah, I look good in my Versace dress, but I'm hotter when my morning hair's a mess. But even with my hoodie on, bet I made you look. I made you look. I could have my Gucci on. I go wear my Louis Vuitton, but even with nothing on, bet I made you look. I made you look. Yeah, I look good in my Versace dress, but I'm hotter when my morning hair's a mess. But even with my hoodie on, bet I made you look. I made you look.
His businesses up to $26,000 for every employee they kept on payroll during COVID. But today, I'm not going to do the talking. I'm letting a real Get Refunds client tell you everything.
I'm Ray, owner of Manzi Insurance and Real Estate. I heard about the payroll tax refund and GetRefunds.com on the radio. When COVID hit my business, I scrambled to figure out how to protect our employees and customers while still being able to service our clients' needs. They got me approved for a payroll tax refund, and with that money, it allowed me to upgrade our technology to provide the means for some employees to work remote while also protecting those that return to the office. If you have a business, you should go to getrefunds.com and start your claim today.
GetRefunds.com helped their business, and we can help yours too. Go to GetRefunds.com and see if you qualify in just 8 minutes. GetRefunds.com, powered by Innovation Refunds.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Make sure you're heating your home safely this winter with a heating system check. And for all other heating services, repairs, or if you need a new heating or HVAC system, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Tuesday afternoon, should kids stay off social media until at least age 13? And our weekly visit with Brian Kilmeade.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back. Oh my gosh, guys, congratulations.
It's so embarrassing being the center of attention. I hate that.
Ryan.
My dad said Brad, Hannah, and Anna were very good. That's a little, you know what? That is probably the most embarrassed I've been all week is that my dad watched that.
Yeah. There are other people who did.
Yeah.
There's 250 people right now streaming that saw that.
Indeed.
So if you're just joining us, if you're here for the Mark Rudin show a little early.
Whoops.
Whoa. We achieved 4,000 YouTube subscribers a few months ago and made a commitment that if we got that, we would have the gentleman here on the show create a music video that we intend to go viral. So
Yeah.
We have one, what I would say, highly viral video on our YouTube channel. Anna, would you say that's right?
Yeah.
Elon Musk's something that he did. I don't know why.
It's got 300,000 and something.
It's
views.
definitely not our best work.
No, it's not.
It just picked up for whatever reason. We want this to eclipse Elon Musk.
Yes.
Anna, can you make sure that happens?
Yeah, I'll just keep posting it until it goes viral.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Fantastic. And so right now, we have 4,989 subscribers on the YouTube channel. We only need 11 more to hit 5,000. Will you commit to doing another video that we intend to go viral, a dance video, gentlemen, choreographed and coached by Hannah and Anna, if we get to 5,000 subscribers?
I'm thinking about this.
We as the collective.
The collective. Is that our dance?
It sounds like your cult.
Well, it's our
We
high
could
five.
also call ourselves the Brethren.
More cultish.
Speak for us.
Will you please hurry up because we only need 8 now.
Provided that Hannah and
Make up your mind.
Hannah and Anna make it as easy as that one was. Yeah, I'm all in.
I have some ideas for how to even
7.
step
No,
it up
no.
a little bit
No,
more.
no.
Okay, we're gonna keep the bar
We're gonna
super
let
low.
Hannah and Anna
6.
do it.
Whoa,
5.
this
Oh
is
my
happening while we
gosh.
talk.
5.
All right, I guess we will definitely do something.
4.
Will it be greater than that? I think the answer is yes, but I don't know exactly what that is yet. We're kicking around some ideas.
Maybe costumes?
So you guys thought that was easy.
I don't want to be left shark.
3.
3 subscribers.
Need 3 more.
This is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Are you
This could happen
committing?
today.
Yes. You
Yeah.
too. You are in the hands of Anna and Hannah.
One more subscriber till 5,000.
Oh my God!
Woo! That's so exciting,
It
guys.
just keeps going.
Yeah. That's all 5,000 of you clapping there for us.
Yeah. That's the people out there in the bullpen.
It is really exciting. Man, I love it. Ooh, Scooter suggests karaoke.
Oh.
Ooh,
Singing
karaoke.
and dancing.
Are you going to commit to any of this?
10,000.
10,000
Oh,
and then
boy.
you do a dance?
I'll sing. I would much
We've
rather
al-
sing.
We've already had you sing. We need something bigger than that.
That was for a donation to the VJ Foundation. That was worth it.
Should
And that
we
was
pick the
awesome.
song?
That was awesome.
If we get, let me think about that.
Okay.
I don't want to make I will make a commitment.
Okay.
I don't know that I'm going to dance.
I think she should be part of the dance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whether or not you're actually dancing in the dance, I think you should be part of the video.
I have an image to uphold.
Well, do like Kesha. Do like Kesha. And all the people
Kesha.
dance around Kesha and she just stands there.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that that's the way her shows go.
You know a lot about Kesha.
Yeah. Am I right, Anna?
I can't say I've ever been to a Kesha concert, but I'll go ahead and agree.
Ryan's in the fan club.
It's like, oh, you should go.
Everybody
It's
secretly likes Kesha. Just be honest. Kind of left me
Man,
hanging there.
subscribers just keep coming. It's fantastic. We're going to be to 10,000. I'm about to make a commitment. I do want to address the big announcement that we have coming on the show to the people in the room. We need to determine when we're going to announce this. I think that
Ooh.
Friday might be a good day.
I think Friday would be a great day to do.
2023
I'm
is
good with that.
is a big year for the Annie Frey Show. And so we have something pretty exciting that we think that you might be interested in.
Ooh.
And subscribing to the YouTube channel will be the right place to consume that thing. But you guys think we should Friday good?
Fridays, I'm good with that.
Friday's a perfect day for it.
In the show or in the pre-show?
In the show.
In the show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The
Okay.
show.
Okay.
It deserves to be over the
Then,
airwaves.
Yes. And it's pretty much fun news for us.
Well, I think it's fun. It's
For
gonna be fun
everybody.
for everybody. On a scale of 0 to 10, how excited, Brad, are you for the news?
Oh, I think I'm a solid 10.
Ryan?
Yep, I'm right there at about 8.
11.
Thanks for evening it out. I think the average is 9.5 or something. And so we will talk to you about that, and we're gonna kind of lean on you folks to help us with this announcement that we have coming. Anna, have you heard us talking about it?
I think I know what you're talking about.
We'll tell you off the air. Yeah. It's something, it's really exciting. Like I said, 2023 is a big year for the Annie Frey Show, and we want to bring you into it. And we just are going to, we'll tell you on Friday afternoon. Fridays are one of our favorite shows. If you haven't been with us on YouTube before and you're joining us for the first time, join the conversation there. We do a YouTube live chat poll every day. Should George Santos resign is the question for today. Let's just recap before Hannah gives us some of the reactions and the results to this poll. Brad, should George Santos resign, yes or no?
I'm going to go with no because of what I said. Let him cope.
Let who cope?
The Democrats that are whining about it.
Mhm.
Cope. I don't care.
Do you think that George Santos is wrong?
For lying? Yes, absolutely.
Do you think that the Republican Party should do anything to George Santos?
No, unless you're talking
Should he be
about
treated any differently than any other member?
No, I think that it's up to his constituents. I don't think he should go on like the what is it, the Intel committee or whatever, but outside of that, just whatever.
Mm-hmm. Ryan?
I do think that they should keep him off of committees. I think that's a good thing to do. But I also think that, again, that he should say, I will resign when Adam Schiff resigns because both of us lied. And he should put the spotlight squarely on somebody else, tie himself to somebody else.
I don't think that he should resign because of these same reasons. I think that the right thing to do would be for him to do that, but that's not, just like we read in Kurt Schlichter's town hall editorial yesterday, there are new rules, and the new rules aren't really that new. It's just new for the Republicans to say, yeah, we're going to play by the same rules that the other side says that they're going to play for him. And here's another point that I think is really worthy of discussion. How is it that he could have been so deceitful and so incredibly blatantly lying about so many things, and the Democratic Party never sussed any of that out when he was running in the campaign? What about the media that was around him? How did this get through? Because that was a Democrat-leaning district that should have probably gone to a Democrat in a red wave year, goes to Republican. There was no red wave. George Santos eked through. It's very bizarre. Real quick, the results, a comment if you want to highlight one.
The results of the YouTube poll question that is asking, should George Santos resign, yes or no? I've been watching the results all day. They've been pretty close, but closing out, 58% of the people said yes, he should resign. 42% of the people say no, he should not. Tony from Facebook says, no, George shouldn't resign. Show me a politician who didn't lie to get elected. JR said, no, he just did what many Democrats do. He has just admitted to it and apologized. Doug from YouTube said, I say no because liars like Biden, Schiff, and Warren and others have not been pushed to resign.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It's a very unfortunate acknowledgement of reality.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't feel good to say that.
No.
But you just go, you know what? That's the world we live in right now.
Thank you all for subscribing on the YouTube channel. Here's what I'm going to do for you. Hurry up and sign on to the Annie Frey YouTube channel before we end the broadcast. Hannah, let's play the video one more time.
All right.
For people who are watching, you can stick there on the live broadcast today. It'll be at the end of it. And Anna, you're uploading it to everyone. You got a behind the scenes video?
Yes, the behind the scenes video, I think it's better than the actual dance video.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's so good. It's really funny.
Well, I'm going to go check that out right now. Thank you for being with us. The Mark Reardon Show coming up next.
The real estate market continues to make headlines for buyers and sellers.
I could have my Gucci on. I go wear my Louis Vuitton. But even with nothing on, bet I made you look. I made you look. Yeah, I look good in my Versace dress. But I'm hotter when my morning hair's a mess. But even with my hoodie on, bet I made you look. I made you look. I could have my Gucci on. I go wear my Louis Vuitton, but even with nothing on, bet I made you look